Good morning, Raptor Freak. Lexiot's here. It is Thursday morning, and apparently our roster has changed in the middle of the night at 1 a.m. A deal was made, a Woj bomb exploded on the Twitterverse that the Raptors have indeed reacquired Jakob Poeltl. We thought this might happen since they were in town. We might as well talk to Pop and the Spurs while they're here in town. And well, it was one of those cases where we said, sorry, Big Yak, don't get on that plane. You're staying here with your buddy Pascal. That you're going to have a sleepover for a little while because you're getting to stick around and be on the team. Wow. When I got up and I saw 6 people were already waiting in the stream this morning, I was like, wait a second. Whoa, this is a lot of people to be here already. And then I was like, what is going on? Because I went to bed. I did go to bed after this, but I didn't check any of the news in the middle of the night because I was like, man, I'm not going to check anything tonight. I'll just go to sleep. Well, it always happens at night. The Kawhi thing happened in the middle of the night. Well, this one happened too. Well, there's a couple things to take from this, guys. I think that one of the things we can take is we're not a seller, we're a buyer. And we are trying to still win right now. I'm really sad to see Cam go. In fact, Wendy Sparks has tweeted on Twitter this morning that Raptors will always be family. And this is the truth in reverse. Wendy Sparks, Cam Birch, you will always be great Raptors in my mind and my eyesight. Now, I don't have to worry about why Nick is not playing Cam Birch off the bench anymore because he's no longer a Toronto Raptor as of today. That's sad. This is a child who grew up a Raptors fan in Montreal who always had a dream to play for the Raptors. Well, you did, Cam. You fulfilled your dream. You played for the Raptors, the Canadian NBA team. And we're so proud that you're a part of our history, and we appreciate you guys. So, Wendy, y'all are always going to be Raptors family, and you will be alumni that will always be welcome and happy around Raptors Nation. We love you, Cam Birch, and it sucks. That does make me sad, but this is exactly the kind of deal that people have been kind of putting around for a while and saying that we could do Cam Birch in a draft pick or something for Jakob Poeltl. Rim protection. Now, the knocks are he can't shoot free throws and he can't shoot from outside, but I tell you for damn sure he can do a whole lot of other stuff, very capable. And a lot of that other stuff is stuff that we have needed. So this is going to be very interesting going forward. Is this going to make our team pretty crazy good? It could actually, y'all. It really, really could. I'm going to tell you that right now. Greg Popovich has had Jakob Poeltl on his team for a little while now, and he's been teaching him a lot of things. He was already a very good student, and he already knew a lot about defense. But Jakob is a little more savvy since we saw him, since he got traded with DeMar to get Kawhi Leonard right before our championship year. He has changed quite a bit. He's going to be a much more savvier veteran that you guys are going to be shocked to see some of the stuff that he can do at this point. This isn't the same player that played for us before. He's much more capable. He's much more dependable, and he is going to solidify our front line finally. Oh my gosh. Bobby Webster, Masai Ujiri, trust in you guys. I will do. When I go to bed at night, you are making deals that are fine with me when I get up in the morning. And this isn't the only one. There were a couple of deals yesterday. Some people finally got moved. Kevin Durant going to the Suns finally last night for a really weird package. No Ayton in the package, but Crowder, yes. Going to the Nets, Mikal Bridges. A tall price to pay to get Kevin Durant to come out to the Suns and play for Phoenix because Bridges is now a net. Crazy. And Russell, well, guess what, guys? I'll be doing the preview for the Utah Jazz game tomorrow, and we will be talking about Russell Westbrook because he is now a Utah Jazz player. This is a crazy, crazy trade deadline. You know what, though? It isn't that crazy for us. It's pretty much what we thought might happen, and thank God in some ways it did because it's signaling to the Raptors fan nation and just the Raptors nation that we are not tanking, that we do not want to lose, that we are playing for the playoffs, and that this dude coming in, oh, the vibe check. Look, it also tells us that Pascal ain't going nowhere. And I would say that probably a lot of the other guys aren't going anywhere either. All right, so let's see what you guys are saying right now. We'll do all the reactions to the games yesterday, both the 9:05 game and the Spurs game last night. But there is more to talk about that's more important right now. And I know y'all are anxious to talk about it. So let's see what you're saying. MSJ is first in the morning. Good morning, MSJ. Good to see you. Well, have been saying Pascal needed a center. I think Pascal plays better now. You know what? This is a part of the whole idea about reacquiring Poeltl is that this is much like in a video game, when you get two different characters and you put them on your team, sometimes they have a shared synergy because the video game designers made it that way. It's kind of like if you have a superhero game and you want Batman in your lineup. Well, if you put Robin in that lineup with Batman, there's some sort of extras you get to fight whatever you're fighting in the video game. Well, this is similar to this, that there are extras, that perks, there's amenities, there's extra fun, good stuff that comes from pairing Jakob Poeltl with Pascal Siakam. This is very much a fun pairing. And there's other things about them on the court that we saw when they were younger as rookies, that they were very, very good with chemistry with each other on the court. Well, it's not just chemistry off the court, it is chemistry on the court. And I'm excited about this. I think MSJ is exactly right. This is a couple of things. First of all, we've seen Pascal in the last week look tired, frazzled, worried, stressed, all these kind of different words. Well, this is a good sign to say, look, all right, we went and got a kid from your home country, your hometown, and drafted him last summer. Pascal, we're invested in you. We want to bring this center up who we want you to be around for, because y'all are both from Cameroon. And that we brought this kid in partly because of you, Siakam. Well, we brought your best friend back from the San Antonio Spurs to Toronto partly for you, Siakam, showing that we love you, Siakam, and we want you to be on this team. And I love this so much because this will give him a vote of confidence from the organization that will reinforce him feeling stronger and fortified within the organization. All this stupid shit this past week, well, they're not trading Pascal now that they've reacquired and put the best friends back together. So, yeah, this is all very good in all kinds of different ways. I am very excited to see how we perform now that he is back. I'm excited to see how Nick uses him. I don't think he's going to start still. I think he will be a specialty guy off the bench, but he damn for sure better play more than Kem Burge. I will say that. At least he better play more than him. Jimmy Pope, the Pope of positivity, is in here, and he is ecstatic about Jakob Poeltl's return to wearing the Raptor red. This is an amazing, major thing. This is a guy I always wondered, and like, man, I know we needed to do this to get Kawhi, but I hated losing Poeltl. I really liked him around our team, and I think he's very happy to be coming back to our team. You know, he's so familiar. It's such a sure thing. You know, these other trades that went on yesterday with D'Angelo and Russell and Kevin and Josh Hart and all this stuff, these are not guaranteed to be fits. Well, ours is. We know because we pre-fitted it. We know exactly what we're getting and who he is, and what he knows what he's getting into. And he knows a lot of the guys too. I mean, Jakob knows Fred, OG, and Pascal and Chris quite well. So this is a great thing. It's going to be really, really good. I'm excited about it too. Peter's here. Peter Saborin. It's been a little bit since you chimed in, Peter. I know you're always lurking with your brother David, but always good to see you, Peter. I hope you've been very, very well. He'll be gone by noon. Aren't we the third team involved in the KD trade? Seems like it. No, let me go look at that real quick. Since you just brought it up, Peter, there is a Kevin Durant deal that is going down with the Nets and the Suns. Kevin Durant is going to the Phoenix Suns with TJ Warren, and the Nets will be getting Cameron Johnson, Mikal Bridges, and Jay Crowder. Now, the interesting thing is Jay Crowder was holding out, and he's finally taken care of. But I was wondering if the Suns were trying to unload Ayton instead of Mikal Bridges, and the Nets were probably saying, no, we want Mikal Bridges. Well, that may have been the whole snag on it from last summer, was that they were really trying to deal Ayton for Durant. And, well, it seems like the Nets never really wanted Durant. I think they're very happy with Claxton. So this is interesting. There's no third team, David. So don't start any of this false news. And why are you bringing in this garbage? We're so happy to have Jakob back. There's going to be no turnaround trade, no which way. We're done. In fact, this very much smacks of our deal last year. It was with San Antonio last year. Thad Young for Goran Dragic. Not a huge deal, but something that did kind of move the needle a little bit after that happened. Thad Young making an impact in the second half of the season after the trade deadline. Now, this is kind of this on the same level, but in a way, it's a little bit bigger in a lot of ways. And I don't expect them to do anything else. This is exactly the kind of deal we thought they would do. And in fact, they got a target that everybody was talking about for a while and wanting to get back. So the front office, I think in some ways, they got to take care of a need. They listened to the fans and something they liked, and they did something in the level that they wanted to do it at. That's the difference. That everybody wants a big move, but no, they don't want to make a big move. They're not comfortable with this. And anybody who thinks we're not done making deals today, well, maybe we are. I don't know if we're going to make any more deals today. It will be very interesting to see. So yeah, I'll be happy when 3:00 goes by and nothing else happens for the rest of today. No OG going anywhere. No, nothing like that sort. So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and sit tight and say we're good. Don't hit me again, dealer. We're good. We're gonna stand on this. 21, baby. Yeah. All right, 21, Savage. Scott B saying, laugh out loud. Pascal ain't going nowhere. I don't think any of our core is. Glad Masai runs this team. Oh, thank God Masai runs this team. And none of these knuckleheads with ESPN trade machines or any of these other couch potato GMs. We don't need y'all to be running this team because you would have ran it into the ground like the New York Knicks. Now, listen, Masai, can we trust him? It may be we put in a request a year or so early, but like he comes around a year later and it makes it happen. This is a great move. I mean, we can cover Jakob's deficiencies in different ways, but he is really, really going to help us in a certain way because he can do it capably. This is the thing. He's going to add so many things to us that we lack in a capable way. That's the thing, a dependable way. That's the one thing. If you can say something about Jakob Poeltl, he's very dependable. So I'm excited about this. He's going to be, he's going to have, and I'm wondering how motivated he'll be too. You know, he's been busting his ass in San Antonio for a couple of years now. I really pay attention to him because that's my other team. And I am personally a fan of Jakob Poeltl. I've met Jakob Poeltl in real life. He's a very nice young man. In fact, when I met him in the street, Dundas and Kensington, you know, he was with two very beautiful young women, and he was just in the middle of the day. It was a sunny day on the street, and I just saw him from across the street. I ran across Dundas, could have got ran over by a streetcar, but I was like, Jakob, Jakob, Jakob. And I came up to Jakob, and I said two things to him. I said, tell Siakam to watch Dennis Rodman because I want him to get to be a good rebounder. And Poeltl said to me, he's like, you want him to watch Rodman? That's some old school shit, man. That's what he said to me when I said, watch Rodman. Well, I told him to tell Pascal that, but it seems like they should have told Chris that instead, Chris Boucher. But yeah, Jakob's a great kid, and I'm really happy he's back in a Raptor jersey. This is amazing. This is so good. 5 times SB champions. All right, that's a new name. Super Bowl champions, I'm guessing, and that is the Dallas Cowboys by the icon there. Welcome. We do Raptors general talk every 9:30 every day Eastern time. Please join us more often. It feels like Raptors don't care about shooting or half-court offense. Is Masai just trying to get a KD level return for OG? You know, in some ways, this does signal that, yeah, this isn't making us better outside shooting. And, you know, I don't know if the offense, half-court offense suffers for this, though. I don't know if that necessarily is true. But yeah, I don't think that. No, I think this is what we're trying to do, and you might be surprised how much better we are with this deal and how it really fits. And a lot of things that have been problems for the Raptors kind of magically go away. You know, a lot of our shooting problems this year are not indicative of who we really are. We've just been poorly shooting because we've had some bad breaks and very bad luck shooting. There's a lot of stuff that should have gone in, easy stuff that we can clean up and get better at. A lot of stuff in transition, a lot of bunnies next to baskets that should have gone in. There's some jump shots that go and they rim around and they don't fall in. It's almost like the basketball gods are giving us opposite odds of goodness. Well, I say everything evens out over time. Just like with Fred's shot, his shot percentage was very poor in the first half of the season. Well, he's going to even that shit out before the end in the second half. So watch Fred make most of his shots and get his percentage up by the end of the season. So yeah, 5 times. There's a little bit of pessimism in your statement, which is fine. But yeah, that's okay. I don't like your first comment though. Let's just put it that way. Race Mode saying, "Let's go." Yes, Edmund, we got Yaka back. Alistair saying, "Record-breaking OG deal coming." I don't like that. See, listen, as much as Pascal and Jakob get along together, OG's in that friendship crew too. These are bench mob dudes from the bench mob days. And people are saying on Twitter now, can we go get DeLon Wright? Can we go and see if CJ Miles is still able to lace it up and come back? The nostalgia is running rampant for the bench mob right now. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to do any more deals. I am saying no, let's not. Bobby, Masai, put that phone away and just wait through the day. Because in some ways, you guys have done your hold up by not really being serious about trading any of our big pieces. You've signaled that we are buyers, not sellers, and that trading OG at this point, Alistair, makes no fucking sense. Because if we were selling, we would have made a sell move. We did not make a sell move. We made a move to buy in and try and win and get to the playoffs. We made a move to get out of the Victor Tank mode, and we made a move to make a solid run to try and get a real playoff spot and not a play-in spot. So yeah, don't expect OG to go anywhere, Alistair. Seriously. Go Gadget Raptor is here. Good morning, Go Gadget Rabbit. Go Gadget Raptor. That dog's name was Brain. All right. Pascal definitely going to the All-Star game since Jaylen Brown and KD are no longer attending. Rightfully so, though Pascal's the reason why we won last night with a sprinkle of Boucher. Everybody else was shooting terribly. All right, I want to break this down because there's a lot in a Go Gadget statement. Yeah, Jaylen Brown got hurt, and he is going to be hurt for a little while. This may really hurt the Celtics for a little bit. Jaylen Brown being out, and now obviously he can't play in the All-Star game. Kevin Durant switching conferences. It's like all these Eastern Conference guys are now West Conference All-Stars. It's very interesting. I don't know what's going to happen with this. They asked Siakam yesterday if you're an injury replacement for the All-Star game. He's like, I'm not even thinking about this. I don't care. I'm kind of over the whole idea of going to the All-Star or being on the All-Star team. I don't care. I kind of really just want to go to somewhere sunny. So if he does get the honor as a replacement, I'm sure he will go. But I don't think he really wants to at this point. I think in some ways he's very much valuing hot place in sunshine and the beach. And we'll have to see what happens with this. I'm surprised they haven't announced a replacement for Durant yet. That they've said that in the last couple of days that him, Zion, and I guess now Jaylen Brown will not be competing. So they should be starting to help these guys make their travel arrangements early by telling them they're going to be in the All-Star game. So go ahead and announce these replacements, NBA, if you're having injury replacements. Seriously, just get it done so people can make travel plans and know where they're going. Let's see. All right, let's talk about the game. Obviously, this is a huge story, Poeltl, but there is a game that we've got to go over from last night also. And let me do my 3 stars from the game last night. Pascal Siakam, by far the best player last night, just like what Go Gadget's saying here. Listen, Siakam was so efficient last night. I love it so much. 15 at 21 from the field. That is fantastic. 37 points. 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, a plus 22. He made all 3 of his 3-point shots and was 4 or 5 from the line. That's a badass double-double right there, Pascal. That is the kind of line that I love to see from you because it was efficient. And I know part of it is that the Spurs are not a very good team and that you could operate freely in a very unobstructed way. This is really what you were seeing last night is Siakam, if he's not getting fouled constantly by the other team getting cheap shots on him all the time. Because he was able to beat the Spurs to spots, he could get clean looks. and make really easy baskets. And they were beautiful. And he is definitely the number one star. In fact, if we're going to talk about a character arc, a hero's arc of going down and coming up, a redemption arc, Siakam is very much on a high for a hero coming back, because he was down and out. And I was personally critical of him a lot in the last week. Well, I want to wipe it all away. We love you, Siakam. You are our number one, and we want you to stay forever because we got Poeltl back, baby. Yes. So, Siakam, it is really great to see you come back, just like Rocky. When you get knocked down to the floor, do you get up again? Well, Siakam does. My second star is Chris Boucher. Energy personified off the bench. Once again, Chris has been fantastic, coming in and lifting up the pace and the vibes of the game. 6 of 10 from the field. He hit these threes at very key moments that were awesome. 4 of 5 from the free throw line, 11 rebounds, including 4 offensive, an assist, 3 steals, 3 incredible blocks, and 18 points. He was a +8. Double-double for Chris Boucher, my second star of the game last night. In fact, those blocks were nasty, very nasty. After the game, Chris was kind of talking about the three-point blocks, that he used to be the leader in the league for three-point blocks, but he's been changed to where he stands on the court. So he's not getting as many as his signature closeout three-point blocks. And he's getting more traditional blocks now near the rim. And I really like this change in his game, because this has not normally been something that we could expect from Boucher consistently, that he would challenge people at the rim and actually block them really well. In fact, I would start to say that maybe Koloko has a little bit of rubbing off on Chris Boucher at this point as a rookie, because that's what Koloko's more likely to do. But we're seeing Chris Boucher blocking shots right next to the rim. And I love that. That is such a good new development with Chris, because that's never actually been something for him in the past. His physicality near the basket is weaker because of his frame, and he's able to get pushed out of the way easier. Well, he's timing things better, using his length better, and he's getting good results from getting clean blocks near the basket. We saw 2 of those last night from Chris Boucher. I really like that. In fact, I can point to that development as something, as a later older player who's 30 on our team, new tricks added to old player's bag, blocking shots near the rim. He's a rim protector all of a sudden, Chris Boucher. I have never thought I'd see that, and I'm very here for it. My third star, I could have picked a couple different people, but I'm going to pick Precious Achiuwa. And the reason why I'm picking Precious is, well, he shot very efficient, 4 for 6. He was 10 points, 7 rebounds, 1 steal, 2 blocks. He did hit a 3, and he was 1 for 2 at the free throw line. But the reason why I'm picking Precious is because Precious showed control in the game last night in certain ways that was badass. This dude is really, really good. You know, a couple of games ago, we saw Scottie take over the game in the fourth quarter, and we're like, wow, Scottie doing this stuff. Well, yesterday, in a way, much like I said, Boucher with the blocks, well, Precious was showing off some new stuff that is very, very good for the future also. The fact that he could have the body control and the hang time to make some of the shots that he made yesterday is really, really good. Like, that's so hard to do. Take the contact in the air and still hang in the air and still make the shot. And Precious is showing that kind of body control and absorption of contact to finish. And he is a very, very good finisher. Like, he finishes in all kinds of crazy ass ways. In fact, he may be the best at finishing through contact out of all our young players right now. Gary's pretty good at it too. But Precious, wow, fantastic. Those are my 3 stars: Pascal Siakam, Chris Boucher, and Precious Achiuwa. Now, I could go on about the other 3 starters. They were fantastic too in a lot of ways. Scottie was fine, 10 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 of 10 from the field. He did hit 1 3. He was doing different things like leadership out there, very vocal on the court, very much involved in the team scheme of things in general. And this is really kind of part of the main thing that we love from Scottie is he's a glue. He's a guy out there kind of keeping things together and really keeping in communication with everybody else. And I love that. I love that so much. Scottie, you're going to have fun playing with Jakob. He's going to be a fun guy for you guys to have around and help up front. Trust me. Fred, quiet night, but nothing too bad. 5 of 16. He did only make 1 of his 7 three-point attempts, which I don't like, but he was perfect at the line, 5 for 5. 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, and a block, plus 20 for Fred at 16 points. Nothing bad there. Fred haters, shut up. He was fine. He was fantastic. He played within himself. He played within the game, and he helped his team to win. Gary Trent Jr., not the best night, kind of a quiet night also. 6 of 16, 2 of 6 from the three-point line, 1 of 2 at the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, plus 15 points. And he did not play in the crunch time. Chris Boucher took his crunch time minutes. That was interesting to me. Not really a whole lot to talk about off the bench. I mean, Thad Young, listen, there's a lot of stats coming out on Thad Young right now as him being a disruptor. He's this guy who gets in the passing lanes and messes stuff up. And they brought out one of those headshot charts where they put the disruptors, and he was right up in the good corner. And of course, Shanika was putting it on blast on Twitter saying, "Oh, this is interesting about my husband being one of the best shit disturbers on defense in the league." Yeah, we love that. And that's true. He's got that savvy veteran smarts to mess stuff up for other teams on defense. And on the down low, Thad is very much one of our deflectors and getting in the passing lane kind of trouble guys. So we need to value that because the stats are showing he's one of the best in the league. Christian Coloco got in the game last night. He did not play in the 9:05 game. And it probably was partly because Nick was probably thinking he was going to use him against the Spurs, a team that's not as good. So really, Coloco could be out there and get some good quality NBA quality minutes against the Spurs. Well, we only saw him for 5 minutes, but he did have a very nice alley-oop from Fred. Very, very nice stuff. A +3 with 2 points for Christian. Nothing really a note from Wancho or Malachi. You know, they played 14 minutes together. They missed all their shots. And it is what it is. They just took time off the court. So, yeah, great game by the Raptors. Fantastic stuff. We really appreciate y'all beating the Spurs last night. And now we have a 3-game win streak, tying our best win streak of the year. Now we need to beat Utah and get a 4-game win streak and then build that even further. I'm telling y'all, we're back, baby. And with Jakob back, we're going to have to see how quickly he assimilates back to being on the Raptors and how much he's an impact and in what ways. As we get him back, and it'll be very fun. This is so fun. This almost feels like, and somebody's making this joke on Twitter, like having a sleepover when you're a little kid. It's like Pascal has his friends over, and maybe like little Jakob is over, and like he tells Daddy Masai, he's like, Daddy Masai, can Jakob stay over and sleep over and have fun with us? He's like, yes, he can. And boom, Jakob's staying over with Pascal, and they're having a good, fun slumber party now. It's it feels a little bit like that. I know it's kind of weird, but it is kind of like that. All right, let's keep going with the comments. Duke Rocks is saying, with Jakob, we're going to be the best defensive team in the league that lacks shooting. I guess no tank. Well, we're just going to have to double down more on what we do already, and that's a lot of shots. We may not be quality, but we are definitely quantity. And now we have another ball shark that's going to be zeroing in on getting offensive rebounds and getting all kinds of rebounds all over the place. There's one thing, maybe newer Raptor fans don't know Jakob Poeltl very well, but if there's one thing that this man does is rebound. So, yeah, we're going to be having some guy gobbling up some rebounds. The other great thing about Jakob is he's a very good passer, and he looks for his teammates, very super unselfish. So in some ways, he's going to help our offense. You guys may be surprised. Some people may say, he's going to hurt our offense. You guys might be shocked. He might really open things up. Because also, listen, we're not playing Cam recently, and it sucks. And it's sad because we didn't see Cam Birch play for like 2 months in his end of his Raptors career. But who knows? He may come around, circle back just like Jakob did at some point. But anyway, the thing about with Poeltl is that he can be very much a straw that stirs the drink in the way that he sets picks, that he is very effective at getting Freddie open. So you're all going to see this. You're going to see that there's a chemistry, but not only between Jakob and Pascal, but there's a chemistry that's accrued because Fred was a rookie with them too. You got to remember the 3 rookies we had that year were Pascal, Fred, and Jakob. We've reunited our Raptor rookie class from their rookie year. And so Fred knows Jakob very well too. And there's a lot of pick and roll stuff that they do very well already. And there's a lot of like screening that Jakob will do for Fred that will free him up for crazy open threes too. So be ready for that kind of stuff too. It's going to be really fun. I'm excited about it, Duke. I really am. And we are going to be one of the best defensive teams for sure. We're already a very good defensive team, and we just got one of the best defensive centers on our team now. So, and it's a real center. That's the other thing. The other thing about having Jakob is when we play somebody like Ayton or Gafford or Jokic or Embiid, we've got somebody that can muscle up with him. Just imagine this in the playoffs. We play the Sixers. Jakob Poeltl can handle Embiid like physicality wise and length wise to a degree. He can do it better than anybody we already had on this team. So in some ways, we just really did upgrade because we can handle centers correctly with not an undersized guy. This guy's the right size to play them. So, all right, let's see. Go Gadget Raptors also saying Jakob in defense. We were throwing lobs to Koloko over Jakob's head last night. Proved we don't need Jakob on this team. We killed him all night. And if we killed him, what would Giannis or Embiid do? All right, I understand your logic with this Go Gadget, but let me tell you something. He's a double agent. He was playing shitty on purpose last night to lower the value to help the Raptors reacquire him. Think about that. The Jakob may have played a little slacky last night. Let's look at his stat line, by the way. I want to break this down. Did he play that horrible? Did he really? He was 4-11 from the field. Okay, he didn't shoot over 50%. He didn't shoot a great percentage. He was 4 for 4 at the free throw line. I like that he made all of his free throws. That is a knock on him. So if he can make his free throws, I'll be very happy. 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, a -11 with 12 points. Now, sure, you could say, oh, they lobbed Koloko over him. They did this and they did this. But listen, what is Jakob Poeltl dealing with on that Spurs team right now? Do you understand that he just lost 14? He's lost 15 of the last 16 games for the Spurs, and that team sucks. Then it's really hard to just pinpoint and say Jakob's fault on this or he looks bad because the Spurs team is bad all around. So it's really hard for you to say that. When Jakob is around quality players, look out. You're going to see what we're talking about. So, yeah, we didn't kill him specifically. We killed the entire Spurs team, and he was a part of that contingency. No, you watch. We're not going to have him guard Giannis, first of all. We have people that guard Giannis fine. He will guard Embiid, though, and that will be a good thing. Trust me, it will. It very much will be. We were using Precious the most on Embiid in the playoffs last year, and he was okay, but that's still a mismatch. And Jakob will give us more beef up front. And this is just a good move all around. Trust me, it really is. It's a home run. And the other thing, like I said, you get Jakob Poeltl, you reacquire him, you know what you're getting. In some ways, it's almost like a deal with insurance because you know who he is because he's already played for you. You know, all these other deals that they made yesterday, there's no like deal insurance on those. You know, Durant going to Phoenix doesn't mean this is going to work. Well, I think with Poeltl coming to us, it does mean it's going to work because we know it works. It's proven. And it's a fit. We know it's a fit. And that's the difference between a lot of these trade deadline deals and what we did yesterday. This is a very known quantity who is familiar with us and is a chemistry fit already. In fact, it's going to buoy us. It's going to make us whoa up. Fred and Pascal and OG are going to be so overjoyed to have their friend back and the feelings of nostalgia that might bring from a time from before when they won the championship. So in some ways, this may reinvigorate some of our core leaders to have a little bit more youthful fun because of Poeltl's presence on the team again. So I will say that. Callie's here, Callie Mayer. Exciting news to wake up to. Wonder if there's more to come. Teams in the West want OG. Yeah, good morning, Callie. What a great thing to wake up to. I should have checked right before I went to sleep. I did go to bed at like 2 a.m. and I would have saw this deal if I went and looked, but I was like, nah, I don't want to go look on the internet. I'm just going to like go to bed. I just finished watching my movie and I was go to sleep. And no, I should have checked because I would have seen it. I woke up and I saw it like 10 minutes before I went on the air this morning and got the news of it. And I'm very happy to see it also, Callie. I don't think OG's going anywhere. I really don't. I really, really don't. I'll be surprised. Like I said, if the Raptors make any more deals today, I will be surprised. Duke's saying, barring a trade, is Trent coming off the bench? There has to be more coming today. We currently have 7 starters. Well, this is good. I mean, I like having a lot of starters like this because it gives us options and looks. It could very well be that Jakob is not a normal starter. I'm really going to think that he is going to be a situational starter for, like, maybe if we're playing an Embiid on that game, then we need to go ahead and like start him then. Like if we're playing Jokic, start him then. But otherwise, maybe you don't start him, or maybe you still start Precious. I don't know. Gary coming off the bench works fine too. That's the great thing, is that we've proven that Precious and Gary are both good at either playing off the bench or starting. And that we don't need to limit them in our minds as saying, okay, this guy's just a starter, because they can actually do their production, do things in the same minutes off the bench, whether they start or not. So I would say that don't worry about that problem. If having too many guys to start is not necessarily ever a problem. You have a lot of quality guys that could start, then that means you got a good bench. And that's what I'm kind of saying about that. So where was I? Dropped. Okay, yeah, that was Duke that said that. Go Gadget saying at Duke off the bench, we trade OG today is for younger pieces and picks. To be honest, I don't see OG being traded today. Masai will not be making a win now trade today because there's no win now trade. Yeah. Well, I think Jakob is the win now trade. That is the win now trade. That's signaling it. It certainly is. I mean, it's helping Pop and the Spurs clear things out more in certain ways, and it will help them get closer to victory by the end of the year. In fact, Poeltl is one of the few players on this team that was very consistent in helping them to win in all kinds of ways. This Spurs team is really bad. We saw them last night, and they are not a good team in a lot of ways. Keldon Johnson with 22 points, a minus 27, the leading scorer. And yeah, just like they are really very much in the Wembayama sweepstakes for sure. Looking at the team stats last night, the game wasn't pretty. There was ugliness. There was bad turnovers. This was a game where Scottie could get a little more experimental with his passing, and he did have some turnovers from crazy ass passes. But for the most part, you could get away with it in a game against a team like San Antonio. We shot 49%. We only got one more shot than them. So in some ways, the Spurs were playing our own game, try and get as many shots as possible. But we did shoot better than them. We made more threes, one more three than them, shot better at the three-point line, shot better at the free throw line. So we shot better than them all around. And that's a big deal because we don't usually shoot better than the other team. So we better win if we shoot better than the other team, especially when it's the Spurs. We out-rebounded them 51-39. That's fantastic. We did not get our 25 assists that I like. We got 21 assists. It's just too bad. We actually had more turnovers than the Spurs. They actually caused us to turn over the ball more. That's a testament to Greg Popovich and his coaching. And then we won the points in the paint slightly. So yeah, the team stats are interesting because we won the shooting battle for once. Hey, we won. That's all I care about. Everybody says, oh, why did we struggle against the shitty ass Spurs? Fuck y'all. You're coming at it from a pessimistic slant. Once again, a W is a W, and every win garnered in this league is earned. Trust me, very much is earned. Now on Friday, now we see the tides of change in the NBA. Now all of a sudden, we may be having to get a game plan for Russell Westbrook. Now that's the thing. Things change that quickly in the league. Sometimes you catch breaks at different times during your season when you teams acquire or have injuries or whatever. And that's why none of it's exactly fair. So like when we play a team and they're missing a star player, so be it. We may have to play them when they get a new player like Russell Westbrook. And it's a new look to them too. So it is what it is. It shall be, it shall be. And we just play the games with who shows up. And let's worry about that one stat, Raptor fans. Is it a W or is it a loss? Because we want W's. We are on the buyer's market. We are on the buyer's market. Getting Jakob Poeltl means we're a buyer. We're not a seller. And everybody wanted us to be a seller. Well, we're not. And everybody who was wanting us to be a buyer, hey, yay! And I'm with you on that one. All right, let's keep going. Duke saying Jakob is one of the best at setting up the pick and roll. Go. I wouldn't go by what we saw last night. San Antonio doesn't play D. Kind of hard to judge Jakob on that team. Yeah, this is kind of what I was trying to say a couple minutes ago. That the Spurs have Swiss cheese defense. And Jakob could be one really good thing. Now, if he's got stable, capable people next to him, and they can really seal out things, like how our defense sealed people out last year. Well, it's more likely to happen now with Poeltl's presence on our team. That we're going to get that nice defensive, cut the water off seal, because this dude is a good part of that's the last line of defense. And listen, this is something y'all have been saying for the past couple months, that we need a mentor for Christian Koloko in a way from the center position. Well, this dude is that guy too. He can do this. He can teach Koloko a lot of really good center stuff. So there's all kinds of different people that are going to benefit from Jakob Poeltl being on the Toronto Raptors again. Whether it's Siakam for sure, Fred and OG for sure. Scottie will benefit from him being around. Trust me, he'll have another big, strong guy next to him that'll help in the fight down low with everybody. So yeah, this is a big deal, and it's great. It's great. He may have a weakness, but you know what? We can cover it up. And I know Nick's going to know how to use Jakob in the most effective way. Technically, he didn't coach Jakob. He was all coached by Dwayne Casey because the switches happened the same time. He was an assistant coach with Jakob, so he does know him from that way. But it'll be interesting to see how he employs him in games and how he uses him. You better not do some Ken Burke shit to Jakob Poeltl, Nick Nurse. I'll warn you right now. I'm going to get my phone out and call you real quick if you stash Jakob Poeltl on the bench like you did Ken Burch recently. I'll be like, what the fuck? He hates centers. Why won't he play a center? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Paul B saying, I like the upgrade from Kem. Since we are already a play-in team, we might as well go to win it all. That's right. As of this morning, we are the 10th seed in the play-in for sure. Indiana is on the outs now, and we have taken the spot in there. And listen, we're on our way up. We can surpass Chicago and a couple of these other teams, Atlanta, very soon. The gaps are not very wide, and we have easy games right now. So we could make up some ground before the All-Star break with these 3 games remaining right now and kick some major ass. And we could end up being in a higher play-in seed by then. And then I'm telling you, we're going to be a playoff team. We may even be in the same seed as last year. Now, listen, what if this happens, that we have this crazy ass, badass season, really bad? I'm not saying badass like good. I mean, bad season. And we get to the playoffs and we have way more success in the playoffs this year than we did last year. It's kind of like a flip. We have a really, really good season, but then we have a disappointing playoffs. What if we have the flip this year, y'all? Will you be ready for this, Raptor fans? If we have a really disappointing season, but in a way it becomes not disappointing because by the end of the season, we make something out of it. And then we get in the playoffs and we actually make it to like the second round or the Eastern Conference Finals. What if we do that this year, y'all? Will you look at this whole crazy ass, ugly ass season in a whole different kind of way if we have major success in the postseason? How about that? Let's make that deal. Let's have it happen. And you know what? All the people that were all shaky about the Raptors all season, well, they will be like, wow, we should have believed in them the whole time. Trust them aside. Yeah, I like the idea of this, and I think it's very, very possible that we could get out of the first round this year, and that will make it a more successful year than last year. So I really like our chances, and it is a very good possibility now with this new deal that we have from last night. All right, let's keep going. Scott B is saying Jakob back on this team is huge. Mentor for Koloko and knows our system. He will pay off immediately. Yes, Scott B. Yes. Yes, he knows. He remembers. He saw who this dude is. He's a good citizen. He's a good teammate. He's a good friend. And this is going to be fun. Jimmy saying, good morning. Alistair saying, if we get a haul for Anunoby, it's a wrap. I don't even want that haul, though. I'm with Kareem Thomas. Fuck the picks. We want Jakob. Well, he got half of what he wished for already. Kareem Thomas, this is already like halfway there. He's saying, I don't want picks. I just want Jakob. And that's it. That's what Kareem Thomas has been saying. Well, he's got it half right now. We don't want the picks. I know you want them, Alistair, but we don't want to trade OG. OG is the heart of our team. He is the defensive heart, and it beats. And if we trade him, we become the Scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz, and we're on the yellow brick road trying to reacquire him. A heart like that, like a Mikal Bridges, like an OG Anunoby. Just because we have Precious, just because we have Scottie, doesn't mean that OG is expendable. I know that people think that. But listen, we want as many of these crazy defensive guys as possible. So go gadget Raptors still not willing to trade our best shooter for a guy that can't shoot outside 10 feet from the basket. Jakob doesn't help, in my opinion. I'd rather just run with Kanono and let the experience build way more athletic. I don't think you're that familiar with Jakob Poeltl, Go Gadget Raptor. I mean, seriously, you got to give him at least a chance. Let's see what happens. You may be very pleasantly surprised with his skill set and what he's going to do for us. You may be very surprised. I'm not going to be, because I know what he's going to do, and it's going to be pretty amazing. So yeah, I want you to maybe like shelve your opinion and give him a chance first to come back and play for the Raptors in the Raptor Red for a little bit, and then come back and circle back and talk to me about what you're saying here. All right. I want to give you that chance, because you may want to mend what you're saying here, seriously, because you're going to see somebody help. And Kanono's not ready. This man, Jakob Poeltl, has NBA experience. He's played all the top Western teams for a couple years now. He has been the brunt, the big man for the Spurs in a very hard situation, a desperate, tough situation. He's toughened. And he's not even the same player when he left Toronto at this point. He's a way better player. So yeah, you're gonna eat these words. So be careful. Be careful coming at him. You didn't even seen him play yet in the Raptor Red at this point in his career. So I would be real careful about checks you're writing right now, because I will circle back and remind you that you didn't believe in Poeltl and you said that he was going to be shit. Cool Cat saying, good morning, Raptor Free Crew. OG will be our shooting guard for perimeter defense and increased offense. PG split between Fred, Scottie, and Pascal, and we will give our trio a fair assessment. Yak skills reunited. I know Cool Cat's happy about this in so many different ways. I mean, this is seriously something that we've talked about for like a year and a half. How many times did we talk about Jakob Poeltl returning to the Raptors, and what a dream that would be? Well, we woke up and the dream is a reality this morning. And I'm so here for it as a Raptor freak. This is a big time Raptor freak trade move by Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster last night. Thank you. A present for the real faithful in telling us a signal that we are not a shitty team and we're not trying to lose by selling our assets. So that's why it doesn't make any sense to move OG at this point. If y'all understand how this all works, you understand we just signal we're a buyer. We're not a seller. So if we're going to turn around and trade OG at this point, that means we're selling also at the same time. That's confusing. Our season has already been confusing enough with how we're going in what direction. Well, they have signaled that we're winners. We played a win, and that's why we got Jakob Poeltl. So don't expect any of our big names to go anywhere by 3 o'clock today, because we've signaled we're sellers. I mean, we're buyers. We're not sellers, and that we're not going to be selling our assets. So there you go. There you go. I love the reunion so much, Cool Cat. It's going to be so fun to see them play together. And like I said, the synergy is going to be awesome. There's going to be some really cool chemistry on the court. There's going to be good vibes. In fact, the team may be feeling more loose and have a really cool atmosphere to it because Jakob's on the team again. Sue saying, good morning, everyone. I am happy about Jakob, but I will miss Kem. He is a good guy. You know what? We love Kem, and we always will. Kem, you're going to be like Bismack. You're going to be like every one of these other storied and great Raptors. In fact, you're a special Raptor because you're one of our Canadian Raptors. And in some ways, I give an extra premium to you guys. And listen, you got some good years with us. You got 2.5 years with us. And we were very, very proud to have you in our Raptors jersey. I know some people sullied you and discounted you and not giving you your due and credit and respect. But listen, we love you, man. We love you so much, and you will always be in good standing with us. Trust me. I personally, you've been one of my favorite Raptors in the last couple of years because I really do see what you do, and I respect and honor and love it, even if a lot of people don't understand what you do. And that's too bad. But listen, Jakob is an upgrade. And it is, if this is one person had to go in this deal, it's okay. And in a lot of ways, it's just fine. Kem's a pro. He hasn't been playing. Well, maybe he'll get to play with Pop. Maybe not. Who knows what's going to happen with him with his future going there. But you know what? He's just a great guy. You're right, Sue. He just really is. Duke saying, Go could be Fred and moving Barnes to the one. I hope it isn't OG getting the boot. I'm a bit confused by this trade, especially since I thought we're tanking. Yeah, we're not tanking, Duke. We never really were. We were just losing because we couldn't win. We hated it, and we shouldn't have been losing. We were supposed to be winning team this whole year. It's just we've had very bad luck, but we're pulling it out. We're going to say, look, we're not giving up. We're not waving the white flag and saying we're done and we're going to surrender and we're going to sell all our guys and start over. No, we didn't do that. They've worked too hard on this. You got to understand, the Raptors have worked way too hard on what they've been building with this core and this team to blow it up or to sell parts of it that they really don't want to sell anywhere. The only person that may get traded today is Gary Trent Jr. I'm going to say that right now. You're not going to see OG go anywhere. Obviously, Pascal's not going anywhere now. And yeah, Fred's not going anywhere either. But I could see Gary getting traded still today. If there's going to be one more trade from the Raptors, it will be Gary Trent Jr., guys. But we will have to say this. Today at 3:30, and half an hour after the trade deadline is over, Gary's doing an event here in Toronto at the KFC court. He's going to be shooting baskets. I think it's at Square One. I'm not sure exactly where that KFC court is. I think it is out in Mississauga or something. But he's doing an event with the public where you can go and shoot hoops with him a half an hour after the trade deadline ends. So you tell me what Gary thinks is going to happen. He's going to just go and shoot KFC hoops half an hour after he got traded from Toronto? I don't know. Jordan Bolton's saying because he's shooting hoops at the KFC court at 3:30 today, that's a signal that he's staying. So I think Jordan's pretty confident that his rally is staying in Toronto. But if anybody's going to get traded at this point, it's Gary. It's not going to be OG, Pascal, or Fred. So y'all just give it up on those three because they ain't going nowhere. The band is back together. You don't get one of the band members back and then send one of the other band members away. Those guys are all very close friends. And them being together, they're a unit. It's OG, Fred, Pascal, and Jakob. So yeah, they ain't going nowhere. Nowhere's going. G saying Coloco will still get developed. Getting an NBA starting 7-footer is not easy. This is a big W. Yes, this is a big W. They've been freezing us out from getting centers. In some ways, you know what we did? We sent Poeltl to Popovich camp for a couple years to really hone himself and learn from a master. In fact, it's almost like he went away to graduate school and he learned all this extra really smart stuff. You being coached by Popovich for this many years, all of a sudden, yeah, you asked DeMar DeRozan how that changed his mindset about the NBA. Yeah, this is a good thing. It's like we sent a kid off to school and he's come back after 4 years of school and he's got a degree. And that's really what I'm looking at with this thing with him. You know, getting a 7-footer is not easy. G's right. And in some ways, we wondered whether we were on the down low blackballed from getting a center in this league by the rest of the league. Well, we got a center finally. I don't know why anybody would be upset about this. We've been calling out for a rim protector, a real starting center. Well, we got one again. This is a real starting center, everybody. MSJ saying Raptors will put out a decent playoff team, perhaps hope on a big Kawhi move. But if you think on it, the Lowry DeRozan team was a playoff flameout. We might get back to that with Fred and Pascal. Well, I don't like predicting that. And I think these guys have a better ceiling. And it's not, you can't look at the team builds the same. The DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry years were very much a two-man crew with Jonas as the third banana. And then you kind of got into Terrence Ross and stuff like that. But that's not a very deep team with the top premium guys. Well, let's say we've got 5 guys on our team that are at the level of DeMar and Kyle in that way of leadership on our team between Pascal, Gary, Fred, Precious, Scottie, OG. That's 6. See, I named 6 guys. That's what I'm saying. You can't compare the struggles of Kyle and DeMar in the past to what we're doing right now because our team is better. Let's just put it that way. Our team is much, much better with more quality starters and better just players overall. So yeah, we can't do that. We can't do this prediction where, first of all, also those guys were bumping heads into LeBron every year, as we've talked about recently. So the whole environment of the NBA is different in a lot of ways. And you know what? Listen, why not? Jaylen Brown just got hurt. Boston, the Nets have destroyed themselves, considering they had none of the guys that they had at the beginning of the year that are important. And, there's some things that are kind of wide open in the East again in some ways, so that we may get a chance to actually surprise people, even though we've been playing dead all season. So I don't know, man. I can't make that comparison of like futile bumping your head in the playoffs with Kyle and DeMar with us now because we don't know. Last year is really an injury fluke, and this year we need to see how they are with health and with Jakob Poeltl. This is different. This is very different. Randolph's here. Good to see Randolph Phillips. Good morning, Raptor Freaks, most informative gang. Victory and trade last night with more to come today. Let's go, Raptors. I can feel the enthusiasm and Randolph's comment without him even writing it in there. I can feel that enthusiasm from him. He's very happy about a great win over the San Antonio Spurs last night, winning 3 in a row now at the Raptors, and a big trade, acquiring their center last night. Really, really good. I don't know what more to come is today. We will pay attention and we'll keep track of it, but I hope that there's not a whole lot more to come. I really do. I want to really give this a test. G saying Nets fans must be a mess. They went from drama to climbing up the standings to their team being dismantled. I know. In some ways, they're very similar to Utah now at this point. They got rid of all the big names like Gobert and Mitchell, and now they don't have Kyrie and they don't have Kevin all of a sudden. They really were saying they weren't going to move Kevin. Well, they did. And it may be that Kevin didn't want to go public with his trade demand because he just looks like such an asshole when he does it. He just did it privately this time. He said, yeah, Kyrie's gone. I do want to go. Will you trade me to Phoenix still? Yeah, we will. But we don't want Ayton. We want Mikal Bridges. Well, the new owner of the Suns who just took over was involved in this deal. So the very first thing this dude does, he turns around and gets Kevin Durant on his team. That's pretty interesting. But what was the price? They're sacrificing some of their good defense on Phoenix by getting rid of Mikal Bridges. In fact, he may be their best defensive player. And, Phoenix is not very much well known for their good defense. So we'll have to see how it goes out there. It's very similar to Dallas. Their defense got worse, too, when they got Kyrie. So, Phoenix and Dallas are going to be very much scoring teams and not very good defensive teams going forward from here. I'm going to tell you that right now. Yeah. I'm a Nets fan. I'd be interested to talk to Starscream with how much change has happened. So Nets fan, if you're here, chime in. Let us know what you're thinking. Click saying trade OG for bench depth, please. No, I think we got bench depth. What is this whole thing of saying like we have 8 starters means we have bench depth? I mean, seriously, we've got like 7 or 8 guys that could start for us right now. That is better than having bench depth. That means we have starter level quality on our bench. So, no, I think we got the bench depth in some weird way because, look, think about it this way. You just switched Kem Birch for Jakob Poeltl. So, obviously, somebody's going to be in the rotation and is much more capable. So, that's at least plus 1 more to be added to the rotation. So, yeah, I don't know. I think this actually gave us a little more bench depth just this move last night. Nako's saying the Lakers actually feel like a real basketball team now. You get rid of Russell. You understand that this may have been that toad under the bridge that was blocking all the goodness. There's some sort of weird folktale about that or something. There's a big frog that's blocking the water for the city. Well, maybe that's what was going on in LA with Russell. He did not celebrate LeBron becoming the all-time scoring leader in the NBA. He disappeared during that whole thing. You did not see him involved in that celebration at all. And you also heard that Darvin Ham and him got in an argument at halftime during that game also about him lingering on the court too long after he was subbed out and standing on the court too long. And they got into heat in exchange. Well, they had it out right before he got traded. And they probably knew he's about to get traded. He says, I'm going to let Russell know that you're fucking full of shit on his way out. And they did. And now he's a Utah Jazz, and he's coming here on Friday to play the Raptors. Who knows if he'll play tomorrow? We'll monitor this. Of course, I'll have the latest information about whether Russell Westbrook will be wearing a Jazz uniform when the Jazz play here tomorrow night in Scotiabank Arena. The Lakers, I don't know. I don't believe it still. No matter what they do, I just feel like they're destined to fail right now. So we'll have to see what happens to the Lakers. I don't know how good they'll be. Nako still. I have to look at I'm trying to remember who all they got. They got D'Angelo Russell. Okay, listen. The thing about D'Angelo Russell, he started with the Lakers in his career, but he is not he's not very efficient. Once again, we have a very high usage shooter who shoots like 30%. He has some good qualities to him, but also he's undersized at his position. So there's a couple of things about him that I knock. and stuff. I'm going to poo-poo anything that has to do with LeBron and say, yeah, the Lakers aren't going to do shit, Nako. They're still not going to do shit, even though they did a good job of detoxifying their team a little bit by getting Russell out of there finally. This will be weird seeing how he fits in Utah and what kind of team Utah's going to be with Russell Westbrook around. Let's see. Isaac saying Nets fan left with Simmons. He always did say it would be scary in New Jersey. That's the thing. Ben Simmons is the big name that's left standing in New Jersey at this point. Yeah, that's so interesting and weird. I mean, who did they get? They got Spencer Dinwiddie. They got Mikal Bridges. They got Jay Crowder. They'll be an interesting team, but I wonder how good they're going to be and how quick they'll meld together and get any kind of chemistry. They have a half season to do it. And I still expect the Nets to drop in the standings pretty far. I think they'll be a play-in team at least, if not completely out of the playoffs by the end of the year. Seriously, I don't think they're going to be that good. I mean, I know Mikal Bridges. I don't know. It's hard to gauge. It's really hard to gauge. We'll have to see. Let's see. Top's here. Great to get off the Kem contract. Sorry for Kem himself. I'm confused about the fit of Poeltl non-shooting big with Pascal and Scottie, who will be in the paint. Jakob and Fred get paid. Fred OG gone. Okay, I don't totally understand everything Top's saying. The fit of Poeltl's great. I mean, seriously, he fit when he was here before, and we need his type of play. We need the type of player that he is. We really do. It's not he can get out of the paint and let them work. Scottie can do everything he's doing. Jakob's savvy enough to get out of there and let other guys get in there. That's the thing. He's a really good team player. You're gonna see. I mean, don't you remember him playing for us, top? And like I said, I've been watching the Spurs because I do kind of watch them, and he's really gotten better since he's been gone. Jimmy's saying, sadly, I can see one guy being moved. We have 3 free agents all trying to get paid, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, it could be that the Gary. It's Gary at this point. I know that doesn't make sense because he's one of our best shooters, but it's partly probably because of the contracts. What if we don't actually keep Poeltl? We're just keeping him for a little short time, fun time for the end of this season. And then in the summer, we let him walk. Because that's another thing we can do is if it doesn't work, if it's not exactly the right fit or things work, I think it will be. That's the thing. He's going to be a free agent this summer. We don't have to stay with him if it doesn't work in this tryout for the rest of the season. So put it that way. I think it will work, though. And who knows, he may be very much like, I love playing in Toronto. It's not that I didn't like playing in San Antonio, but I know that Toronto is a place that I'm going to win sooner. And he may give us a deal this summer when he's working out his contract as a free agent. So we don't know. We don't know how things could go with this as far as things. But it is true that now we do have 3 guys that are up this summer. Poeltl. Fred's not up. See, that's the misnomer. Fred's already on the books, and we don't need to do anything with Fred. He's on a contract for next season, and we can just keep him going. We could do the extension, but we don't have to. Now, Gary is somebody that we have to put money at this summer if we want to keep him. So it's really Gary and Jakob. Fred is not actually a free agent this summer. He's actually already on our books, and we're paying him for next year also already. So Lion Hunter is saying tankers must be in shambles right now. Yes, Lion Hunter. Yes, you and I have stood on this ground against the tanking for most of the season, and now we're getting this redemption. All those people who were so convinced we're going to blow it up. My thinking is OG is going next for some depth. I don't think so. I really don't. Like I said, I think if anybody's going at this point is Gary, and it doesn't make any sense for OG to go anywhere. Alistair saying we are a win now team because this trade was a win now move and we're going for it. I love it. See, that's what I'm saying. If we're real fans, we want our team to try and win. We don't want to be losers for Victor. That's loser talk. So if you're a real fan, you want the team to play to win and do what they're doing right now. Duke's saying reunited and feels so good. Reunited and it feels so good. Ooh, I almost sounded a little bit like John Oates there. Ooh, John Oates. All right, I wouldn't say Daryl Hall. I mean, I can't get that level of crazy soul from Daryl Hall. I can do a little John Oates. Reunited and it feels so good. Yeah, I had to sing it twice because it's that nice that Jakob Poeltl is back in a Raptors jersey. Yeah. Bench mob minus Powell. Powell played last night with the Clippers against the Dallas Mavericks in Kyrie's debut. Kyrie won. He took the Mavericks to win over the Clippers last night without Luka in the game. He was the leader, and he did beat Kawhi. Kawhi was playing, and he didn't play that good. But Norman off the bench had big numbers last night. You go, Norman Powell. Yeah, bench mob is in effect. Bench mob is feeling strong. I'm sure Kyle and Norman are looking and seeing what happened with us last night, and they're like, big smile. Yeah, Jakob's back in Toronto. They probably really do like that. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam. So much to unload. Great win yesterday. Great to have Jakob back. Still worried there will be more changes today. Don't want to lose our core players. Yes, Fiercey, I'm with you. Completely with Raptor Freak Fiercey Salsera. Is this enough? Is this it, Bobby? Please, maybe it is. Now, if they trade Gary today, that would be the only other thing that I could see happening. Seriously, I keep saying that, but hopefully maybe it doesn't happen. G is saying apparently the Nets are now turning around and trading Jay Crowder. Wow, breaking news happening while we're on here. Well, we have to see how all the dust settles by 3 o'clock. There could be still some changes in the NBA landscape. Very interesting. All right, David's here. Let's see what David's saying. In the first tweet from Woj, it was reportedly a 3-team trade, and we made the move for Poeltl like 10 minutes before the KD news broke. Seems connected. I wouldn't read into it too much. I think that we very much were just dealing with the team that was in town last night face to face, because I don't see anything a third team involved in our deal at all. It's pretty straightforward. It's Kem Birch and some picks for Jakob Poeltl, and that's it. Straight up, one player for one player, no other team involved, and that's it. That's just it. Now the KD thing's totally unrelated. I'm actually shocked that KD got traded last night, because they were signaling that they wanted to try and keep him in Brooklyn. Well, they were lying. And the KD on the down low still wanted to get out of there if Kyrie wasn't going to be there. So let's see. Forgetful saying, I will be spending the day imploring the basketball gods to give the Nets a victory tonight over the Bulls. Please join me, Lex. All right. Forgetful, maybe doing some sorcery, a couple of spells in a cauldron, in a farm. Yeah, I could see this. That's great. Yeah, listen, we could get behind the new look Nets beating the Bulls for strategical purposes for the standings. I am all about this. That's what I do on NBA nights now. I look at every game and I decide who do I want to win more, because which will help the Raptors the best. And, last night I was rooting against the Celtics for the Sixers because I wanted the Sixers to beat the Celtics. That didn't happen. But that's the kind of thing I do right now, especially with the way things are. I wanted Detroit to beat Cleveland. I wanted Charlotte to beat Washington. I wanted Miami to beat Indiana because, Indiana's right there next to us, and we're trying to mess them up and get ahead of them. So, yeah, let's go Nets. We're cheering for the Nets tonight. No fuck Brooklyn tonight. Beat Chicago. Go on and do it. Yes. Duke Rock saying Utah is tanking. Westbrook is a buyout candidate. Oh, yeah. I mean, Utah is definitely Mike Conley leaving there. I mean, he was the one who was helping them win still. He's like, Mike, you're helping us win too much. We got to trade you. You got to get out of here, bro. So yeah, let's bring in somebody who really help us collect L's. Russell Westbrook. Yeah, he's very effective at this for the Lakers. He put the L in Lakers for the last couple years. So now Russell Westbrook can put the L in Jazz. Le Jazz. Le Jazz. It's French. A fun guy saying OG is next. Unfortunately, but we need those Pelicans players. Trey Murphy, Dyson Daniels, Jackson, Jakob. Let's go. All right. Fun guy. Once again, I'm going to tell y'all are not going to see OG move. Listen, in the Pelicans nation, they don't want any of those guys going. They love Trey Murphy and Dyson Daniels, and the Pelicans fans are saying, you better not trade either one of those two guys that you just named. They'll trade Jackson Hayes, but they won't trade Trey Murphy III or Dyson Daniels. They very valued by Pelicans nation, and they would be very mad at you. Because they say they're untradeable. They're talking about them like they talk about Scott here, that he's just untradeable. They do not want to trade Dyson, and they will not trade Trey Murphy either. They will trade Herb Jones, though, apparently, but they won't trade those two guys. That's what they're saying down there. G saying, I feel OG may get traded. I'm not a trade person, but apparently the West really wants him now with KD being on the Suns. I don't care what other people want. I don't care. Let them dream. Let them want Messi. Let them want Ronaldo. Masai Ujiri said that. Let them want that. It doesn't mean they're going to get it. We love OG here, and OG is a Raptor, and I don't want to trade him. There's no reason to trade him. We have him under contract, and it doesn't make any sense at this point. There's very good value for him. If we really want to go the picks route like Utah and other teams recently, I'd be shocked because that's not really who we are as a team. So, yeah, I don't see it, y'all. I really don't see it. I know a couple of y'all keep saying that OG's getting traded, and if he does today, I will be shocked. I will be shocked. Cool Cat saying Precious, Boucher, Gary Trent Jr., Coloco for the bench with Scottie developing point guard skills. Jakob will start. Scottie, power forward, Pascal, small forward, OG, and Fred at the guards. I don't mind that lineup, but I think that it's a situational thing, Cool Cat. It's going to really be like, I don't think she'll start Jakob every game. I think he'll start him when the big man is big. But if it's a smaller team, he may run Precious at center and start him that way. But I don't mind having interchangeable guys depending on the matchup. It may make sense for Gary to start certain games also. But when you look at that lineup, then what you're saying, that's what I'm saying. In some ways, Gary's the odd man out. And because of the contract situation, he's the one who's going to get traded, y'all. I really do think that. If anybody's getting traded today by 3 o'clock, it will be Gary. It won't be OG. Trust me. It really won't. Top saying, what's our path to getting out of being a treadmill team? Internal development and no shooting? You can't get left holding the bag like they did with Ibaka and Gasol, etc. We're not a treadmill team, first of all. I really don't like how we've been characterized this season. We're a good team. All the other teams that play us know we're a good team. It's just we haven't added up to wins right now. There's been functional problems. There's been problems with injuries. There has been shooting problems, but our methodology of quantity over quality is very effective in many, many ways. So, listen, we do have internal development going on with Scottie and Precious. That is a big part of our leaps and bounds that we can make in the future. And obviously, we have good assets. So we can make another deal down the road. It's just we don't have to make all the deals right now. It's like this is a good deal for the time being to see in this increment of time how it looks with Jakob. And it may be that you don't make another deal until the offseason because you want to look at the different looks of the team in each stage. And because you don't want to overdo deals because you may do too many deals all at once. And you may have had the right chemistry and fit at that one step into it and not 2 or 3 steps into it. That's what I'm saying. So maybe you do this deal, try it out with this mix. And then if you feel like you have to make more changes, you make more deals later. But I don't, and listen, I'm not worried about people walking and stuff like that. Everybody worries about, losing. You lose a player for nothing. Bullshit. There's always something that you get in some way in the back end of it that it works out, whether it's cap space, whether it's this or that or whatever. Sure, you can talk about talent drain or losing development for nothing because somebody just walks. But listen, this is really about Gary. If you want to talk about it, it's like, are you worried about Gary walking this summer? Well, so be it. So be it. If he decides he wants to take more money from somebody else and he walks, so be it. We've got a lot of good players still. So I don't like this fear about worrying about people walking or anything like that. In fact, Gary's got a good relationship with us. I'll bet you we do a sign and trade and actually get assets for him at the end of the season, just like we did with Kyle Lowry. So there's all kinds of different options here. And I think there's a lot of positive outcomes and options that we could get into. So let's not limit our mindset on this. We do have shooting. It's just got to wake up. It really just does have to wake up. And maybe that's part of the deals we do this summer is we get a little bit better established veteran shooting. Go Gadget Raptors saying, only issue I have now is we have 5 guys looking for a contract extension this summer. In my opinion, someone else has to be moved for bench pieces if they really want to make a playoff run, most likely Fred or OG. We're getting ahead. Let's just take this present moment. Let's not worry about any of this stuff. Let's take it day to day. Seriously, let's take it day to day. Let's take the games as they come. Let's see what happens tomorrow night with Utah. Let's see how good we are playing. Let's see if we can start really kicking some major ass. And then let's go back to the GM drawing board in those kind of ways and look and assess and say, well, do we need to make a move then? I think y'all are preemptively going further when we don't need to. Let's see what we got right now and go with this first. And then if we have to adjust more, I know the trade deadline's at 3, but so what? We don't do anything rushed. We don't do anything like in haste and make a mistake. So let's just seriously, we got to see what this edition of the Raptors with Poeltl back in the mix looks like at this point before I think we make a big major move still. I just feel like it's just smart. You got to see what he adds. Ahmet the GOAT is here. Yo, yo, yo. Tuesday trivia next week, Ahmet. Next Tuesday, we will be playing trivia. So I hope you'll show up 9:30 a.m. Tuesday, Jurassic Trivia. Click saying, you think Jakob's going to fix the worst half-court offense in the league? You think we're just unlucky, missing shots? No. We don't have legitimate three-point shooters. That is not true. We do. We have good three-point shooters. It's just they haven't been hitting them all the time and stuff like that. These guys are going to come out of it. In fact, we're seeing signs of people like Precious, Pascal, and Scottie getting better with the three-point shot more recently. Precious finally hit another 3 last night. Scottie's taking more threes than he did in January. He only made 2 threes in all of January. Well, he's hitting them again right now. And Pascal, 3 for 3 from three-point shot last night. I really think that it's like the misnomer that we don't have three-point shooters is not exactly right. We have good three-point shooters. In fact, we have a lot of three-point shooters on our team. It's just whether they're making them or not. And we do make them on given nights. All of them are making them all of a sudden. So it does really do balance out in some ways. Trust me, it will. And we're going to shoot way better for the rest of the season, partly because spacing will be better for different reasons, and people will get better open looks because of better sets and picks from Poeltl. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if we're the worst half-court offense in the league. I haven't seen the stats, but I don't like this pessimism. Click. Come on. We have something bright to look forward to. Let's see how it goes first. Y'all are already making decisions about how the Raptors are going to be with Poeltl back, and we don't know. We have to watch him, see him play. Paul saying, bring back DeRozan. I'd love to see the 2018 squad try again. That'd be weird. It'd be really weird. I don't want a deal to get DeRozan. We have to give up one of our main guys to do it. That doesn't make any sense. It's a nice idea, Paul, but I don't know if it's very realistic or smart. Let's just put it that way. I mean, it would be fun to reunite DeRozan here, but he wouldn't be as warm coming back as Poeltl is. He still has some issues with our guys here. Masai in particular, I know they're okay at this point, but I don't think DeRozan trusts Masai or likes Masai deep down in real life. So I don't know if that's realistic. G saying Jakob fixes our rebounding issue and holds his ground in the paint, which will help their three-point defense. One thing at a time, click. Getting a reliable 7-footer is a win. Yeah, we're getting something we've been calling out for. And in some ways, it's such a beautiful, glorious way to get an old player that we used to have that we love to come back. So there's a lot to like about this. Let's see how things go with this now. You guys may be very pleasantly surprised about the effect that he has just by being around on our team. You guys may be shocked, honestly, just how important what he does is to a basketball team. Boxing out, positioning, strength, giving us a little bit more presence. Like all this shit where these big men get these lobs and come down the lane and just throw it down on us when nobody's guarding him. That's not going to happen when Poeltl's on the court, because he's a very good defensive center that will meet people and challenge them whenever they come near our rim. Now, Kem's good at that, but Poeltl's better because he actually shot blocks. And then also he can get up off the ground and kind of get up, and he really is an agitator and makes it harder for people to make baskets near our basket. So you guys are looking at maybe the places where there be deficiencies, but you're not looking at where he's going to really add a really, really solid player for certain things that we needed help with. And that's just low post defensive presence is going to be such a huge thing from him that I don't think the average Raptor fan totally understands what is going to happen now. That he's going to hold people away from getting easy shots next to our basket. And we don't have to use Pascal and Scottie and OG to do the muscling. That Jakob can do it now. So that is really good. Let's see. Duke saying Durant going to the West. You're going to have many teams that will be calling Masai for OG. Memphis, Denver, Golden State, New Orleans all need to do something. So what? They can have to do stuff. That's their own homework they should have been working on while they had time. They don't have to come and cheat off our test or take our homework and copy it at this point. We don't have to bail them out. We don't owe shit to any of those Western teams. Fuck now. We can keep our guy. We don't have to help anybody. I hate this that we're so catered to, whoa, we need to help the other teams because they need it. No, fuck that. That's the way the media paints it. We don't need to help anybody. We can keep who we have and be selfish and say, fuck y'all. You're up a creek with no paddle. Fuck y'all. Y'all can deal with Durant on your own. You ain't getting OG. The fun guy saying at the bare minimum, Flynn, Wancho guys getting moved. So I think definitely more moves coming. We need picks. We just lost a good one. OG is my highest bet on the move. Makes the most sense. Yeah, I don't see it, fun guy. I'm sorry. I'm going to disagree. And why would we trade? I mean, we could trade Flynn or Wancho. Not a big deal, but I don't see that happening either. All right, Kareem, this is the person I want to hear from because he's getting what he wanted for a trade deadline, it's looking like. Kareem Thomas is saying Anunoby is high in the Western Conference for defensive stability, but we have him under contract for another year. Our main focus is Freddie and Gary. We can't sign both. So do we trade both before 3 and who? That's what I'm saying, Kareem. I think it's Gary. It won't be Fred. It'll be Gary. If we're going to make one more trade, it'll be Gary. Alistair saying, why do you think OG trade doesn't make sense in your opinion? Because you guys don't understand how important he is to this team. He is such him missing these last couple of games has made it harder for us in some ways. Like Jack Armstrong said, we would have probably beaten Utah in that Utah game if OG had been available. That he just adds that much more to help us win, whether he's his spot up threes or his just a general defensive ability on the toughest player on the other side of the court. There's all kinds of things about OG that you want. It's like they said a couple years ago, we want like 5 OGs on this team. Well, why would we get rid of the original, the OG, if we wanted to have like 5 OGs on this team? You keep the guy that you're inspired to get as many of clones of him. So that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make any sense. Once again, everybody lusts and thirsts for OG Anunoby around this league. Doesn't mean we're going to trade them to them. And that I think some of y'all are getting caught up in the trade rumors from other nations and seeing what's possible and being like, ooh, maybe we can do that. But who fucking cares? Let's keep OG. OG is our dude. Trust me. We trade OG, we're going to regret it forever. Seriously, if we trade OG Anunoby today, Raptors fan nation will regret it for decades from now. We'll be like, why did we trade OG at that time? We were so close. Seriously, I don't want to step in it and make a mistake. And that's why I'm saying, don't do it, Bobby. Don't do it. Don't trade OG. You know you don't want to trade OG. You don't want to trade OG. He is literally the heart and soul of our team in some ways. He is the personification of what we do in some ways, the defense, the Raptors defense. All right, let's see. Mike's here. Logical Raptors fanatic. Salute the real ones. Project Truth always. The female Spurs analyst was definitely talking good on Boucher this time. She kept talking about him being everywhere. Good W. Looked solid when we should be solid. Yes, Mike. Chiming in. Yeah, Chris Boucher was fantastic. I mean, I love it. City News put a clip out about them being Degeneration X, and they played the theme song, and they showed some highlights of Precious and Chris on the news last night. And Chris saw it and he put it on his Instagram. He's saying, this is so cool. Talking to Precious, he's like, look, we're on TV as DX now. It is so awesome. It is so cool, Chris. You guys keep going with this Degeneration X, Shawn Michaels, Triple H thing that you and Precious have been doing. It's just fun. It's fun. And you're on the news now as DX. It's hilarious. So good. So good. Duke saying there's going to be a bidding war of OG in the West. Masai may get an offer he can't refuse. Well, we'll have to see. I'm not going to go too far with this. Like I said, I'm not predicting this. I know we're beating this over the head like a dead horse, but okay, 5-time Super Bowl champions Dallas Cowboys is saying it's just what I see. I'm not trying to start trouble. Toronto is ranked 28th in 3-point percentage and 27th in overall shooting percentage. In the half court, this poor shooting is hurting the team. It did last year too, but we managed to win despite it. Once again, our philosophy is quantity over quality. Those other teams may take less shots and make more of them, but we're taking 20, 30 more shots than them by getting more offensive rebounds, getting steals, getting turnovers, and that is how we overcome the other teams. Now, this is the thing. We shoot just a little bit better and we're still getting more field goal attempts. That's a formula to win better. So if you look at it this way, we don't shoot well right now, but we can improve our shooting, then that's how we win better. If we just improve our shooting a little bit better. And I think if you ask the Raptors, the team, the coaches, the players, how the shooting's gone this year, they say we haven't shot as well as we could. And Nick Nurse expects them to even that out and get better at shooting this year. I know the stats say that. And yeah, we may have had one of the worst shooting years of our good Raptor teams, not counting the ones from the early years in the expansion. But there's some signs that this is actually we can improve this. So think about it that way. We're still taking as many shots, the quantity, but we actually start making a higher percentage of them. Yeah, we're going to win more games because we've lost just very close games in this way where we didn't shoot just well enough. And part of it's Fred. It really is a big part of it's Fred. Fred wasn't healthy. He couldn't shoot his shots to carry us home. Well, he's healthy now, and get ready for him to do that at this point. So, yeah, I know it's hard to see, and everybody looks at the stats and they just believe this. But, the Raptors in the whole realm of the NBA with shooting percentage are not that far off the spectrum. It's like they may be near the bad end, but they can really start moving in the other end. It's just like in an NBA game. In the first half, you could shoot like 20%. But in the second half, you shoot 80%, and all of a sudden you're shooting 50% by the end of the game. That's what I'm trying to say. That as much as a game is a game of runs and quarters and different quarters, the season is like this also. And then in some ways, we had a good first quarter. We had a shitty second quarter. We're having a difficult third quarter right now. But that fourth quarter, we could have everything turned up and shooting very, very well and playing in it very, very well. So look at it that way. In some ways, it's just because things were this way for the season doesn't mean it's static, and that's just how it goes for the rest of the season. Things can be improved. So yeah, G saying Raptors are 4 games back from 6 with an easy schedule coming up. This month will be interesting. That's what I'm saying. Let's go take a playoff spot. Let's go rise up like that zombie out of the ground and scare the hell out of the rest of the Atlantic Division. Because they're all been like, wow, at least we don't have to worry about the Raptors this year, Celtics Nation and the Sixers Nation. Well, maybe you do still need to worry about us, motherfuckers, because we ain't fucking done this year. We're coming. Yeah, we're coming. Fun guy saying, no way in hell am I trading Fred or Siakam now. Those guys probably sitting good enjoying today, but OG unfortunately is going to have a tough day leading up to 3 p.m. Why would you want that for young OG? Why would you want that for him, fun guy? No, I hope you're so wrong with this. But I know that Siakam and Fred are very much smiling today. And this does really signal having their rookie friend back from their rookie class on the team together. The three of them together, they're such a good trio. And we're going to see it again. Jimmy's saying our team has always been defensive minded. Trust me, this will help us win games. Our doubles will be much more valuable now. Yeah, and it could be also that, you know what, some of the switching and the crazy frenetic defensive stuff we do, maybe it chills out a little bit because we have an anchor. We have a guy that actually will anchor things, and we don't have to haphazardly run every which way. We can stay at home and play more man-on-man defense because we actually have somebody who can handle the big guy by himself. I like it. And I think Jimmy's right. Guardian saying with Yacht coming back, I have a feeling Masai might pull an OG move that brings back a shooter and draft picks. Every one of y'all are saying you think OG's getting traded today. What is going on with that? That is crazy to me. I don't understand that 1 + 1 = OG's getting traded. I do not get that, y'all. I know he's been hurt and he's sitting out. I know there's a lot of people lusting and thirsting, so cringe-worthy, the thirsting for OG around the league by other teams. But it doesn't mean that he's getting traded, y'all. And the trade last night does not mean he's getting traded either. In fact, I think, honestly, you guys don't understand. OG's in that set too with Fred and Pascal and Jakob. He is a part of that continuity and contingency from back in the day. He's not officially a bench mob member because he was starting, but in a lot of ways, he was on the bench mob that year when we had the bench mob because he was playing alongside all of them. In some ways, it kind of blurred because he did technically start. He wasn't bench mob, but he played a lot of minutes with those bench mob guys. So Go Gadget saying Coloco taking the alley oop over Jakob managed to drop the asking price of Jakob from 2 first to Kem to protect the 2024 pick and a second round pick. Laughing my ass off. I'm serious. Somebody joked about that during the game last night, that Jakob is really helping the Raptors by dropping his value by looking so bad in the game last night. I love it. I love that kind of talk because it's funny and it could be true. Kareem saying Masai's like Santa Claus, dude, always delivering in the middle of the night. I love that, Kareem. You're right. Here comes Masai. Here comes Masai down that chimney lane. Trade-a-dee, trade-a-dee, trade. Look at Masai go. Oh, so good. All right, Logical saying a trade happened. Just finished last night's replay and plugging back in. What happened? Poeltl, right? Yeah, Poeltl's back. We traded Poeltl for Khem Birch last night, Mike. And Jakob Poeltl is our Toronto Raptor as of today. And we're breaking it to Mike. I love this, actually, because, like, Mike, you've got to hear it from your own family, the Raptor Freak family. The Jakob Poeltl is back with us. We traded picks and Khem Birch at 1 o'clock last night for Jakob Poeltl returning to the Toronto Raptors. And Kevin Durant is a Phoenix Sun as of this morning, Mike. So you do need to go check the Woj bombs because there are a few. Russell Westbrook, Utah Jazz. Let's see. Alistair saying, go, 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 go. Yes. And G saying, logical. Khem Birch, a protected 2024 first and 2 future second round picks for Jakob. That's right. Daddy Gates is here. Pascal gets his best friend back. Isn't that so cool? The vibes have got to be good. We saw Pascal sad and tired and a little depressed yesterday in his practice interview. Well, I'm sure he's smiling today and very much getting that vote of confidence from the organization that we stand beside you because we just brought your best friend back. Top of Top saying to make the playoffs with Otto done for the year and the defensive deficiencies of Fred at point attack is confusing. We have too many holes to not do a soft rebuild. No. And no, and no. Listen, Fred is not a defensive liability. People that say he's a defensive liability, just stop. Because honestly, he's one of the best defensive point guards in this league. He does so many good things on defense. He's not a liability. Stop painting him with that picture. And listen, we are a very good team. You got to give us a chance. You do not understand what just happened last night. This is going to be very different. And it's going to be very interesting. Let's just see first. Y'all hold judgment on what more needs to be done. Let's just see what this does. We'll see what happens with Utah tomorrow night with Jakob Poeltl back in the Raptors red. Seriously. All right, let's keep going. Jimmy saying Khem 1 first and 2 seconds. Yep, that's the deal. Blackhawk is here. Good morning, Blackhawk. Poeltl for Birch is a great upgrade. Thanks, Khem, for your service. Welcome back, Jakob. That's the best comment to make on this. It is an upgrade, and thank you, Cam, and welcome back, Jakob. You go, Blackhawk. Great comment. Scott B saying Jakob was trying to keep it low key, but he knew he was coming before tip off. I think that they maybe kind of knew, although they wouldn't have played him for the whole game if he knew. I think that this very much is something that happened after the game, but he kind of maybe knew that it was possible. When Josh Hart got traded yesterday, he literally left the bench in the middle of the game and went to the back. Like right as soon as he got traded, they were like, hey, you got to leave. And he's like, got up off the bench and walked to the back and he left the team like that. So if he had been traded before the game, I don't think he would have suited up for San Antonio last night because when trades are done, they're done. And it really probably did happen late last night. And it could have been like a late night at Soto that caused it with Masai and Pop sitting across from each other, drinking some fine wine and having a little discussion over a very, very expensive meal that got it there. Because that's what Jack kept saying. Go to Soto. You'll see Greg Popovich eating dinner at that restaurant after the game is basically what Jack was saying. He's putting him on blast for that. I'm sure Popovich really loved that. All these people probably showed up. The reservations for Soto last night probably went out the wazoo because people were like, oh, I want to go meet Greg Popovich, one of the greatest coaches ever, and go sit in the restaurant with him. His prickly ass, telling people to get the fuck away from him. No, I love Greg Popovich, and his interview before the game was fantastic. He started talking about changes he wants to make to the game. He said that he wants to shorten the game to 36 minutes. So basically, he wants to cut 12 minutes off. But I think he was joking. He's basically saying that because if it was a 36-minute game, then my team would win more often because they get too tired by the end of the game, is one of the things he said. And then he also said, I know he was joking about this, I want to see a 4-point shot and a 5-point shot because I want to make this game as much of a circus as possible. Greg Popovich, you're hilarious. Thank you for having a social conscience and also for being who you are in the media scrums. You're hilarious. You're like our Belichick, the NBA's Belichick. Just prickly, tells it like it is. We'll tell you to fuck off, and we'll also tell you that, Black Lives Matter and important social things happen, and he will stand up for good things also with causes. So, Greg Popovich, you're a hero to me, and I appreciate you a lot. Let's see. Hugh is saying, oh, man, now we have 3 expiring contracts in Jakob, Fred, and Trent. Well, Fred's not expiring, just so you know. We will not be able to take all 3 contracts, and there's no way we let him walk after half a season. Fred or Trent are on the hot seat. Well, Fred is not on an expiring contract. That's the whole folly of what everybody keeps saying about Fred. Fred is under contract for next season. He's in the books. We don't have to do anything with him. We don't have to extend his contract. We don't have to do jack shit. He can just stay where he is, and he will be playing for us next year. We don't have to do anything with Fred. That's the one thing I want to make clear to y'all, because it seems like everybody's confused about Fred. It's an extension. It's a possibility for him to extend what he's already got for next year. So Fred is in our jersey and under contract next year. Gary and Jakob are the only 2 free agents for this summer. Now, you say, why would we get him for a half a year and then let him walk? Well, it's a tryout. This is very often what happens. It's much like when we got Gary for Norman. It was a tryout for the second half of the season to see if it's a fit and if it'll work, and then we reinvest in that person in the summer. So that's the thing. In some ways, it's smart because we're not on the hook for Jakob if we don't want to keep him past this season. So that's the way it is. It's basically like that. Now, there's only 2 guys that have expiring contracts. It's Jakob and Gary, not Fred. I want to make this very clear because a lot of y'all are confused about this. Fred has money already allotted to him in our salary cap for next season. And next year is the last year of his contract. It's not this year. So, all right, let's keep going. Mike's saying, amazing. That's solid. 2 firsts. Okay, Mike, I want to see Mike's real reaction to this because honestly, Mike is somebody who really knows this shit, and he will be able to tell us exactly how he feels about it. I'll really go by that. Mike looks like he's on a cloud 9 for this. All right, I got to really get into these comments here. Okay, that's amazing. Solid. 2 firsts wasn't it? Protected next year's first. That was the asset, not this year's pick. And 2 seconds were solid, undrafted anyways, and tend to get like the next picks like fake 61st and 62nd. Yeah, so Mike likes the deal. Some are saying should have done the trade before the game. Yeah, that's funny. I don't know. We maybe he wanted one last time with his teammates on the other side. I don't know. It's just fun. And we won the game. Everything worked out. We won the game. Spurs lost, so they get closer to Wemby. We get Jakob back. It was just a good all-round thing, the dealings with the Spurs yesterday in every kind of way. Worked out for both franchises. Trust me. They want that victor. Losing 10 games in a row for the Spurs, that's music to their ears in San Antonio right now because they want that Wembanyama. They want that. They really do. They all got their jerseys with Wembanyama on the back already. They are working towards something, and we were helping them last night. Spurs fan, if you come in here, I'm very friendly with you. I love you guys. In fact, I'm in your fan nation on the West Coast. That is my Western team, and I want y'all to get Victor Wembanyama. So we are very happy to beat y'all last night and help y'all get towards that because I love the Spurs, and I want y'all to have Victor next year. Yes. All right, let's keep going. Click saying we need to trade OG for depth and shooting. We can get a lot in return for him right now. Teams like Memphis, Sacramento, or even Portland. All right, once again, I'm not going to speculate. I'll let them do something. If they do something, if you guys are right and OG gets moved and we get a huge deal and a package for him with a lot of interesting things, all right, I'll say it. But right now, I feel like we're good. I really do. But we'll just have to see. I react. This is a reaction stream. I'm not going to predict. I'm only going to react because I couldn't have predicted for sure that we'd get Poeltl for sure last night. Well, we did. We were hoping so, and we did. And it's kind of cool. Let's see. Top saying the Poeltl trade likely cost us 2 first-round picks. That pick we gave up for 2024 and the one we're getting lose when we squeeze into the playoffs. It's a very short-sighted look. I don't get it. Once again, our franchise does not value picks like the nation does. Like some of the Raptors nation values the picks. We don't. Masai Ujiri doesn't value picks. I don't value picks. Monique, Kareem Thomas, none of us value picks like some of y'all do. Picks are just picks. They're unknowns. We get a certain amount of picks all the time. See, this is the thing. And the way that we're quantity over quality on the court with shooting, we're the opposite in picks. We're not quantity, we're quality on picks. And what we do is we get a certain amount of picks, not too many, because if you only have one pick a year, that's fine. You get one rookie, you make it really count. And you make your rookie be really good, like somebody like Koloko or Barnes. Well, if you have 2 picks, okay, so be it. If you have 4 or 5 picks, what the fuck are you going to do with all those people coming into your team? You won't be able to develop them right. You won't be able to give them enough minutes. Go look at Oklahoma City Thunder. That's what it is with them down there. So that's what I'm saying. What if we're quality on the picks over quantity? Meaning we have only a few picks, but we really make those picks count. And we really nail it with those picks. That's what I'm saying. Some of these teams that get so many picks on their teams is because they have so many errors. We don't fucking draft to make errors. We draft very soundly and smartly with the little bit of picks we get. So that's why I don't value getting a whole bunch of picks. What's the point? You'll be at Oklahoma City. So why not just have a few picks and make the best out of those picks? Like really knock them out of the park quality-wise. That's my argument about this as far as things. Now, if we're getting known players that are already good in the NBA, that I value way more than picks at this point. Like if you're going to trade OG out west, I don't want picks. I want players that can help us right now. And they better be very good shooters, like you're saying. That's what I'll do. But I don't care about picks. Fuck the picks. Picks don't matter. Seymour's saying, after watching the game, not sure if I like Jakob too. He makes no difference. No, he will, Seymour. He's going to remind everybody real quick. Trust me. He's not in a good team with San Antonio. He doesn't look good with them. He will look good with us. Trust me. Scott B saying it's clear Masai believes in these guys. I do too. Yes, Scott B. You go. Raptor Freak Nation is celebrating today because we are the real ones. The ones that really stand beside the team are seeing that the team stands beside the team also and believes in it, just like we do. Not like these pessimistic haters that want us to blow the damn team up this whole season. No, we ain't blowing it up. In fact, we're getting the band back together. That's what we're doing. Yeah. Alistair saying, that is not true. Having young players that should start come off the bench is bad. It stunts development and makes them unhappy. That's what I'm saying. I'd like to limit how many guys we have on our team to give them the good time to progress and develop with room to do it instead of competition, infighting, jealousy, looking over their shoulder. When you have too many guys, they're kind of all competing. It can be really bad for your chemistry on your team. So in some ways, you want guys to be different and kind of differentiate themselves from each other. So they're not really in spaces where they feel like they're competing. They really kind of have different flavors that are very valued each. And that's what I'm saying. Oklahoma City is a mess with how much they have down there to try and sort out and figure it out. And it's so in flux, they'll never get anything concretely set up. They may get SGA to do this and Lou Dort to do this. But a lot of those other guys, like they're going to fall through and they're never going to be worth anything. There'll be all these first round picks that then won't amount to anything for them. They're worthless. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And Alistair's echoing it here. Mike is saying Poeltl is more than people know. Not gonna lie, his passing bag is big now, and Nick will fix his shooting. We got our mold type M2. All right, I don't know what the fuck that is. To alpha grade upgrade with the passing. Shooting is the piece he needs to work on. Mike's going to know. He's really been paying attention. And I have too, to what Poeltl's been doing down there. I follow him online as a person, and I've really paid attention to his journey with the Spurs. He really does care, and he's a good team player, and he's going to do some good things for us. Trust me. Go saying at top, I agree. I think Masai got these guys a C, so they have no excuse after the season, allowing him to make whatever trade he deems necessary. Now, see, I can get behind this. Go, Gadget Raptor. It's like, look, make the deal now, try it out. And if things still don't go well for the rest of the season and we still have like kind of a failure, then we can blow things up to a degree in the off season. So all in due time, guys, let's not get ahead. You get one little deal and everybody's excited and everyone wants to have more deals. You're getting addicted to it. No, this one little deal is good. Let it see how it goes. And then if we have to make more deals, it will be in the summer, is what we're saying. Country Kong saying, good morning, Raptor Freaks. What an interesting development. Jakob and Pascal reunited once again. I'm cautiously optimistic that this addition will cure many of the chemistry woes we've seen so far. Yeah, that's another part of it. You guys don't understand how vibes are really going to go up on our team right now. They really, really are. And specifically with Siakam. The other thing about Siakam and Poeltl from when they were young and they played on the Raptors that nobody remembers is that Poeltl is this guy that has Siakam's back. That, listen, he gets beat up and pushed around a lot. Well, as much as Michael Jordan as a rookie had Charles Oakley protecting him, Jakob Poeltl is going to be protecting Siakam with a whole different kind of way than the normal guy would because they have a friendship bond. And listen, somebody fucking comes to Siakam and hits him the wrong way. Poeltl's going to come and regulate. And in some ways, we've needed this big tough guy to be kind of like this. It's not that we don't have tough guys on our team that will do this, but I'm telling you right now, there is a protectiveness that Poeltl has for Siakam, and you're going to see it. You guys are going to be shocked to see it. That he's going to be a little bit of like, you know what, you're fucking with our number one guy, our franchise player, and I'm going to fucking set you straight, Jakob. He's going to be like that. Trust me. He's going to be like that. Mike's saying Poeltl starts sometimes when a starter is out, but if the starters are healthy, he comes off the bench till we see how he fits back in. Cool Cat is bliss mode at the moment. She's been going hard on needing a center. Yeah, I think a couple of us, we've been talking about this. Kareem Thomas, myself, Cool Cat. You've even talked about Poeltl being a great comeback piece to come back here. Yeah, I think you're right with how you're visualizing how it'd be used. I really think that it'll have to do with whether we're playing an Embiid or not. Like if we play a big center, obviously you're going to want to play him at this point, Nick. We're going to play Denver. You're going to play Jokic. You're going to play Poeltl. So that's where I look at it too. It's going to be really matchup based. And if we play smaller teams, he may not start. It may be that's the difference. And then Precious is starting instead at center. So, yeah, I like the different looks. And that's what I'm saying. And the thing is that Poeltl's been used like this by Popovich the last couple of years. He does not start every single game. That's the way the Spurs are. And he has been very effective with getting good lines off the bench as well, even if he's not starting. So the thing to expect from Jakob is a lot of rebounds, some block shots, and some really, really good set screens, and then a really, really good low post defensive presence that's going to help seal things out. Listen, he can't seal things out when the other four Spurs are all over the place. They're inexperienced, they're young, and they're not really playing together. But if he gets into the Raptors defensive system with Nick Nurse and it's all organized, he's gonna flourish. He's going to be such a good addition because he's going to be sound. That's the other thing. He's dependable. He doesn't fuck up defensive assignments. He's going to seal shit up for us. And in another way, he's going to be a very good role model for Scottie in some ways as a big man also for these kind of things. So trust me, he's going to teach a lot of people, not just Koloko. He'll teach Scottie and Precious some stuff too. Watch. All right, let's keep going with the comments. La, la, la. Paul's saying, everyone look up. Highlights. Jakob Poeltl's 31 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists versus Portland. Yeah, this is on the team. Looks nice. Yeah, I don't understand how people forgot who Jakob Poeltl is. He did play for our team for like 2 years, and he was very, very good when he was here. I think it was 2 years. It was either 2 or 3 years. Yeah. Troy Henry saying, I hope we're just buying because I'm happy for who we have so far. There you go. There's another good Raptor freak, Troy Henry, who's on the buying side like we are. We're buyers. We're not sellers. We're not a garage sale for all you other NBA teams that come down and try and buy our players on discount out in the middle of our yard. Fuck that shit. We're not like some sort of fucking Goodwill for the NBA to come get players to make their team better. Nah, bitch, we're buying. You guys can be selling or buying, whatever. We don't care. We're buyers and we're not selling. Tristan saying, please not Gary. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Tristan. I really am kind of with you on this. In some ways, if we don't do anything else for the rest of the day, I am perfectly happy. I know that some Raptor Nations people are going to be upset if we stand pat and we don't do anything after this. But I think that they'd be short sighted to understand that sometimes, like I said, you just want to make a little incremental change and check that first before you make a sweeping change. And I want to see where we're at with this incremental change of bringing in Poeltl. Some people don't think this will move the needle, as they like to put. Will this trade move the needle? Well, I think it will. And you guys may be shocked how much it does. Cool Cat saying Kem's knee injured for 2 years. We have the opportunity to support our core. Gary Trent may be on the market if he declines his player option and don't negotiate with front office. The core deserves a fair shot. Yes. Yes. To everything Cool Cat is saying, I am 100% behind all that, other than Kem being hurt for 2 years is sad. Fiercely saying, what annoys me is whichever move trade is being done, some people will never be satisfied. Some are already complaining about Jakob. Come on. I know, Fiercely. This is the thing. We got to understand. Some people are just miserable fucks in their lives and personally, and they just want things to complain about. And also, once again, the phenomena of people in our nation that aren't actually real fans, they're going to be just annoying and pick apart anything because they're not even fans. They're critics. They're people that like to have something in their life that they can have a little bit of power over because they maybe don't have any power over anything in their life. Well, in some ways, maybe they feel they generate some sort of power inside themselves by saying things about the Raptors in a negative way or something like that, or being critical. And that's what I'm saying. These are sad, pathetic fucks. They're probably going to be miserable no matter what. It doesn't matter what we do. They're going to be upset. They're going to complain. They're going to make a negative comment about it. And some of them, I may think they're not even in our fan nation, really. They're just people that are involved in our spaces that are actually from other places. So yeah, some people you can't please anyone. You cannot please some people at all, ever. Mike saying the boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. Guess who got back in town today? I will go over things money wise when the dust sets. Probably not this weekend. Next weekend's probably vibes check is solid. There you go. Mike's giving a big check mark on this deal for last night, and we should expect something from his channel about it in the near weeks to come. Go Gadget Raptor saying Gary's our best shooter, and we still need shooting. Gary can't even garner a first round pick. He won't be able to get us depth pieces. It will either be OG or Fred that will bring back multiple bench pieces. Well, who's to say that we need to do this? That's what I'm saying, Go Gadget. Who's to say that we need to do this? Who's to say that we need to do this? I mean, seriously. We can just stand pat and let things evolve as they do the way they are right now. We don't need to make any more moves. We do not need to move somebody because we're desperate to get more pieces. That's what a lot of people want us to think. That's what the media wants us to think. That's what other fans of other teams want us to think because they want us to blow up these guys. They want us to send OG somewhere because they know he makes us so good. So I don't want you aligning with what Boston Celtics fan wants. I want you aligning with what Philadelphia 76ers fan wants. You should be aligning with real ones the Raptor freaks want. And we don't want to trade OG. We don't want to trade anybody for extra stuff. We don't need it. We're in good shape. Watch. Trust me. We're going to be good. Watch. Seriously. Alistair's saying we need more 6'4", 6'6" guard shooters, scorers like Gary and a Joe Wieskamp type player, one to complement Siakam Barnes passing and the other to stop scoring droughts. Keep it simple. I won't disagree that those kind of roles are something that we could have more of on our team for sure. But let's just see. Criscom's here, the great Criscom. Good to see him. I'm hoping you're making good predictions while you've been away. Good to see you. Good Raptor freak, Criscom. Let's go. First center since Gasol. Big ups. Raptor freak. Thank you, Criscom. Dap. And I hope I'll see your name more now that we got the good vibes going again. Maybe we're going to get some inertia on this channel again because people are going to be like, whoa, you're going to get interested in watching the Raptors. And, we'll get more and more people coming back. Fun guy saying, oh, man, Lakers look stacked, bro. They didn't just get rid of Westbrook. They stacked their depth with really good role players that I would have loved on the Raptors. Well, I'm going to go look at them and see. And we'll just see. Also, once again, it has to work. And it may look good in theory, but on paper, but it may not actually work on the court. And there may be other problems with the Lakers other than just that. We'll have to see. Once again, I'm going to paint it negative and not in a bright picture for the Lakers and LeBron, no matter what. Seymour saying, why trade Gary? He's our best shooter. Yeah, I'm with that. But if we are going to trade anybody, he's the only one who makes sense to me personally. Some of you guys may have a reason for why you think the other guys may want to go, or why you want to trade them, but not me. Go Gadget saying Phoenix now has KD, Ayton, Booker, CP3, Payne. I'm a fun guy. Facts, though, that was one thing I was shocked about. Add 3 depth pieces for an overpriced bench player this year. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even like digging that deep on the other trades that are going on. In fact, I don't really care. It's like whatever. Like those teams get better and things happen. I really only care when they come and see us. Whatever happens in the West with these shakeups, so be it. It's the West. I like the fact that the Eastern Conference has gotten weaker because the Brooklyn Nets have lost 2 top 75 players in the last week, and that they're a division rival. And in some ways, that's the thing that's the most important to me as far as with those other deals. I don't give a shit. Westbrook's coming here tomorrow with Jazz. That's fine. The West Coast stuff, fine. But the Eastern Conference, how it changed, the Nets have switched out their main important players, and they're going to be a different team. And that's the thing that I'm worried about the most with those deals is the Nets. Even though we don't play them again this season, they're still in our division. And they're people that we need to be paying attention to. Those other 4 teams, New York, Brooklyn, Philadelphia, and Boston. Let's see. Seymour saying, however, it rounds out, I believe in Masai. Yeah, but trust in Masai, trust in Bobby, and you will get what you get. Kenrick saying, funny how the Nets had 3 All-Stars and now they only have Ben. I know. They had Harden, Durant, and Kyrie Irving on the same team. And now they got is Ben Simmons. That is insane to me. That is insanity to me. Oh my gosh. Scott B saying, I agree, Seymour Pape. The whole league wants our guys, and everyone that has left has done great. Let's benefit from our development. That's right. Like I'm saying, we got this great stuff. Why do we have to give it up? We're not a farm team for the rest of the league. We're not developing our guys to a certain point so that they can go and share their fruits on another team like OG. No, we want to get all the great reaping rewards for what we've developed and put time into him. You trade OG right now, he's about to either get a breakthrough or just be this amazing plateau of a player where he is right now in more and more ways. And it's just stupid to trade him. He can guard anyone in this league. Why do you want to get rid of that on your team? That's crazy. You don't want to get rid of that. And a thumbs up to you, Tristan Phipps. Yes, Tristan, you go, Tristan, on this Thursday with us getting Poeltl back. Let's see. Duke is saying we're the best defensive team in the league with Jakob. Maybe the philosophy is to get most shots in the OZ, which we do now. Limit second chance points in the DZ, which has hurt us, and Jakob fixes that. That's right. Just a little bit of a tweak in as far as like our success with low post sealing out and stopping people. One of our biggest problems this season is that we could not get stops, absolute stops when we absolutely want to. That, at the end of games, this happened with the 905 yesterday. Let me do a recap of the 905 against the Maine Celtics yesterday at 11 o'clock real quick, because this goes along with what I'm talking about right now. At the end of the game, the 905 were behind most of the game, and they did get swept by the Maine Celtics here in Mississauga 2 games in a row. And the main reason why they got swept is because they could not get stops when it really mattered. At the end of the game, Shyok and other Maine Celtics, scored whenever they wanted to. That part of the reason why we've lost a lot of games this season is we couldn't get stops at the end of the game like we could last year. We can remember 6-minute periods of games in the fourth quarter where the other team would not score at all. And we would overcome crazy deficits that we're at and overcome and win the game. Well, with Poeltl coming back, we had the power to seal people out and shut that water off for 6 minutes again. That we haven't been able to do that effectively this year at all. Well, let's see if we can do it again now that Jakob's back. And that's a big part of what Duke is talking about here, is that for us to win, we've needed stops. And we've been ineffective at getting defensive stops. But with Poeltl on our team again, we should have more success with this. Jimmy saying, looking like Lowry going to Clippers most likely. That's the craziest thing. I'm hearing Lowry's very much a buzz in the trade talks right now, and that he could be out of Miami very soon. There's just so much noise. I'm not paying attention to it until it happens. So when it happens, we'll have to see. But I've heard Lowry's name may be moving right now. And that's interesting if he goes to Clippers. Go saying, Lex, Fred and Gary are both in the same situation. They both have a player option after the season. They will both decline their player option and go into free agency to see what their market value is. That's not what Fred said on the record. I want you to know this, Go Gadget. He said he didn't say he's declining his option. He's on the books, and he said he's already said this year he's going to be on the Raptors next season. He said at the beginning of the season he wants to be a Raptor for life. He said also, y'all keep freaking out about me and my contract extension. Just so y'all know, I'm on the books and I'll be playing for the Raptors next year. That's what he said. So he said twice this past season. Either you think he's a liar or something. Fred said he wants to be a Raptor for life. And Pascal said it this week that he don't want to play for anybody else also, just so you know. And then second, he said at one point, I don't know what y'all keep talking about my contract extension so much. It doesn't matter. I'm on the books for next year, and basically alluding that he's going to be playing for the Raptors. So I don't know if you're aware of that. Now, Gary, yeah, he's going to opt out and test the market, but there's no guarantee that Fred will. In fact, with the way that Fred's year's gone, with it not being super, super stellar for the first half, he may not want to test that, and he may want to just take the guaranteed money that he's already got coming to him. So, you may not be right about that. I'm telling you that Gary will probably take the player opt out, but I don't think Fred will, because all the signs are pointing to him saying, I want to be stable and I want to stay in Toronto. He's bound to have his third child, and he wants his kids to be Canadians and to live in Canada. All right, let's keep going. Seymour saying Westbrook will be bought out. Miami or Milwaukee or Clippers will pick him up. That's crazy. Like I said, I don't know what's going to happen. I'll just react as they go. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Maybe he won't suit up tomorrow and play against us for the Jazz. Fun guy saying, hey, Lex, I wish the band we brought back together could stay together, but it's the money. More trades incoming because we are over the tax or going to be. Gary or OG gone for sure. Think OG because better return. Listen, we're not worried about the tax, first of all. If we're going to pay in the tax, we're going to pay in the tax. This may signal that they're all in and they really want to go further with this. I know people are saying, why would they do that with such a mediocre team? This is not a mediocre team. This is a wolf in sheep's clothing that everybody is fooled to think this is a mediocre team. This team is very good, and you guys got to believe in it. Y'all are the Raptors nation. You should believe in your team and understand that they're very good, and they're going to get this figured out. And stop thinking that just because we've been mid this season, that this is where we are and who we are. This is not who we are. Trust me. This has been an illusion, and we're going to be way better very soon. You're going to see it. I don't know about the money stuff. And this summer, they'll figure it out. I'm sure that they made the deal for Jakob last night with everything in mind and that they have a plan. So I trust him aside. Mike's saying the Kawhi trade tree lives again, from Bargnani to Poeltl to part of Kawhi to protect it first and second. And Kawhi trade becomes DeRozan, blah, blah, blah. All right, yeah, circles back. Okay, and Tristan's laughing about it. Shane Waters saying, great minds think alike, Lex. Yeah, bam. Shane Waters holding it down the West Coast. Summer Lowe saying, trivia for Lex. Which player is responsible for getting Jakob Poeltl during the draft? Which player? Responsible? What do you mean? Like the reason why we got him? This is an interesting question, Summer. I know this is probably a trick question. Is it somebody like is it like Jose Calderon or something? Is it a European player that just happened to know who he was over there or something? I don't know, Summer. Please give me the answer. I'm just going to guess Jose Calderon. That he had some sort of connection to like finding him or bringing him here or something. I'll guess him. Jose. Seymour saying Crowder will be a Milwaukee Buck by the end of the day. Ooh, we'll have to see. Man, I can't speculate any further than this. You guys are making so many predictions. Once again, I'm just dealing with what has happened. Duke saying, interesting fact is we currently have a positive net rating without Jakob. Adding him to the defensive depth, we could limit teams to the century mark. We definitely were scoring well over 100. That's the thing. We've been letting teams score 120 points too easily in games recently or this season. And I want to change that. And Poeltl will be part of that change. Jimmy saying Grizzlies might throw the whole vault at us. I don't know. Tristan saying apparently Pascal has been made the number one option as opposed to Fred last year. I think it should be Scottie. Also, Juancho is barely hitting threes. Yeah, but Wancho does a lot of the team concept stuff that's important without making mistakes. That if he just makes threes, is a bonus. But otherwise, he's not making any problems. Also, so in some ways, he's eating up minutes for guys to get rest, and I have no problem with that. Especially if he's having a veteran presence that doesn't cause us more problems while he's out there. He's kind of like a placeholder, is what I've said about him. He'll make these threes. Watch, by the end of the year, he's going to have some sort of crazy streak where he's going to make threes all of a sudden for us, and everybody's going to be like, "Whoa, Wancho is actually a really good 3-point shooter," because he's got it in him. Trust me. As far as like, yeah, Pascal's a number one, but he may not be the most efficient number one for the future, and Scottie may overtake him for this. I do agree with this, but it's a work in progress that should be slowly over time. The Siakam still is the figurehead number one for sure. But the writing is on the wall. Scottie should be that guy that should probably take over in the fourth quarter at some point. And maybe he'll get chances to test that and practice it with the safety of Siakam being around. So we'll see how that develops more and more. But I like what you're saying, Tristan. Seymour saying Mike Conley with Gobert and Towns and Edwards teams looking a lot better all around the league. Yeah, I still don't like that double, that Twin Towers in Minnesota. I don't think they fit with Edwards. And Mike Conley's maybe an upgrade over D'Angelo Russell, but I think that team's flawed because Gobert, first of all, he's a goof. He's not a very good player. He's a con artist. He's made people think that he's better than he is, and he doesn't really try. And the other thing is with Gobert and Towns both in the paint, Edwards is nullified. He can't do as well. So when these guys are hurt, Edwards can play really well, but when they're all healthy, they don't fit. That team is messed up. I have no faith in the Timberwolves at all with that core that they have. They're messed up, and they're not going to do well because those two guys don't fit. They shouldn't have never put Gobert with Towns, and Edwards is suffering for it. Let's see. Cool Cat saying, I think people are not realizing the front office is giving the core of Pascal, Fred, OG a fair experiment this time. Bench mob is regrouped and given a chance before contract expires. Yes. And this is something I know, like Mike has said, Cool Cat is on cloud nine about. I am on cloud nine about. All the old bench mob fans are on cloud nine about this. In fact, if I had known this was the news before I came out of the bedroom, I would have worn my bench mob shirt with Jakob and Fred and Pascal all in a row sitting together on that bench. I've got that shirt. I might be wearing it tomorrow. Tom Duke's here. I love this investment in our core players, especially in Pascal. Go Raptors. It really is a signal. It's like, Pascal, if you've been sad, this may be why Masai brought him into the office the other day. He said, Pascal, come into my office. Hey, listen, do you have you heard of this player, Jakob Poeltl, before? What are you talking about, Masai? Of course I know who Jakob Poeltl is. Well, do you want to get him back on our team? Yeah, all right. And then he leaves. And then Blake Murphy's reporting when he saw Pascal coming out of the meeting, he was smiling and laughing. Maybe that's what he was trying to tell him. He's like, look, we're going to play the Spurs and we're going to play them. And then after the game, we're going to get Poeltl back on the team. And Pascal probably brightened up. And that may even be why he played so well last night. Maybe he was buoyed in his spirits from knowing that one of his best friends was going to be returning to the team. That may be part of the reason why he was so efficient and played so well last night, because he was very happy to know the news. Tristan saying OG is good. Also, I imagine Poeltl can help Christian develop for sure. He'll be really good with positioning and just like little trade secrets of a big man in the NBA with as far as like holding your body without getting fouls, and also kind of like how to control specific players in the league. That Poeltl has a lot of experience handling all the big centers in the West. He could teach our guys how to play Jokic really, really well, I'm sure, because he has a lot of experience playing him in the last couple of years. So, yeah, I think that his mentorship for Christian will be very valuable for sure. Not only him, but Precious and Scottie also on the down low. He's going to be teaching all of them. Mike's saying corner threes are closed now. We don't need help rotations and post catches. Poeltl can go one-on-one and hold ground, so we rotate off the corner three-way, lessens and decreases the opening for the other team's threes. See, Mike knows how these dominoes are going to fall, and they're going to be all kinds of things that are going to help that you guys don't even realize. Because we have Poeltl to play it one-on-one with the center, we don't have to collapse on the middle defensively in some ways like we've had to this season, just because they need help. Well, Poeltl will cause it where we don't need to help in the middle in certain ways, and that won't that will allow us to guard the corners better for threes. That this is a side product of what's happening with this move that will make things better. And you're going to see this. Mike's exactly right. That this has been one of the biggest Achilles heels that everybody's complaining about this season. The corner threes being open and killing us. Well, Poeltl's presence may actually help fix this. And I see exactly what Mike's saying, and I agree with it because I can see it happening that way. Forgetful saying, no offense, Top, but if you can't see what Fred does at the point of attack, your spectacles need a cleaning. He's sometimes let down by the help flubbing their assignment. You know, the one thing that I think Top of Top's alluding to is Fred has trouble against guys like Maxey. That Maxey is very quick. I think everybody has trouble with Maxey to a degree. In some ways, Fred isn't a quick point guard. He's a veteran, guile, smarts point guard who makes a lot of things happen with his smarts. He's not necessarily good at keeping up with the quickest guards in the league. And in some ways, that's what people equate. That's why he's a bad defender. Well, he makes up with it by being really smart. And in fact, he's a better point guard defender than most point guard defenders because he can guard big men down low. Most point guards can't guard big men soundly and have a good stop where they either strip the ball or they even block their shot. And Fred is that guy. So there's trade-offs. You trade off the quickness against quicker younger guards like Tyrese Maxey, but you get that really smart guile and smartness that makes things happen in other areas also. So it's like every player is different. It's like NBA 2K. You got your player build. And every player in the league has different characteristics and pluses and minuses. And some people in Raptors Nation really gloss over the pluses of Fred VanVleet in ways on the defensive end that they should be giving him more credit for. They really, really should. But I agree with the undersized thing. It is true. His undersized can be a defensive liability for our team at times. So in some ways, Top of Top is also correct. So let's see. Calapoon is saying U.S. media have been salivating and calling for a Raptors teardown, but Masai goes and buys at the deadline while the team climbs the standings. Gotta love it. Yes, Calapoon, and great to see your name here this morning also. Yeah, what a gangster. This is like fuck Brooklyn kind of shit. You motherfuckers are trying to steer our team with your headlines, your kibitzing, your takes, your ESPN bullshit. You think you know what we're doing? Nah, motherfucker. Masai Ujiri is the captain of this ship, and he steers it the way that he wants it to go. And just because y'all thought we were going to be sellers and giving all our good players to other teams to make them better, well, wrong. And it is really kind of like what we've been saying for the last couple of weeks. What if the Raptors are acting like they'll be sellers and really enticing everybody, like an attractive woman, kind of like with a veil over their face and like, come and see me. It's like in the cartoon with Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny's wearing the veil and he's like being like a woman. He's like, oh, come and see me, big boy. And then like he takes the veil off and he's got a club and he clubs them over the head. It's kind of like that. It really is kind of like that. And I love that comment, Calapoon. What a gangster. What a gangster. Masai Ujiri is the godfather. That's right. Go Gadget Raptors saying, my bad. We now have 6 players looking for new deals, not 5. Precious, OG, Pascal up for extensions this summer. Jakob, Gary, and Fred will be unrestricted free agents this summer. That's wrong. Once again, you're wrong, bro. Fred is not an unrestricted free agent this summer. Anyway, I'm not going to argue about this anymore with you. As far as like bringing in these other names with it for like, yeah, you're just looking for trouble. You're just looking for issues, Go Gadget Raptor. Trust me. The only 2 guys I got to take care of this summer, because this is what Blake Murphy and everybody else have been saying, are, well, now Jakob and Gary. Fred is already taken care of if they want to. If he wants to opt out and do that shit, then so be it. We'll see what happens then. But in some ways, that may be a risk and a gamble that he may not want to take. And that he may want to just take that money that's already guaranteed for him for next year and just stay on that contract. You know, Fred has not played well enough this year to a degree to get an uptick in his extension, to get more money. That he may want to just take that contract he's already got online for next year. So listen, man, you're trying to paint more problems for us. That's not a Raptor freak way of going about it, Go Gadget. I'm going to tell you that right now. And I really, seriously, I'm listening to Blake Murphy. I'm listening to Mike. Mike, chime in on this. You tell me who's got to get taken care of this summer the most, Mike, because I know you know. Tristan saying, Calapoon, yes, they want to see us blow up. Side note, Pascal and Scottie and OG going to push ball handlers into Precious, Chris, and Jakob. They do. They really, really do. The fact that the Raptors have struggled so much this season, and then they know that we perennially are always a top Eastern Conference power, they want to crush us out like a cigarette. They see us on the ground and they want to stomp us out. Well, they've not. They're very close to doing it in some ways, but no, the team is really smart. On the inside, we're saying, fuck all this shit. We're overcoming this shit like Rocky Balboa. That we may be bad, our record's bad, and everybody's saying we pull us apart, send all these players everywhere, but we believe in our core. And Masai's even said this to the press recently. I believe in our team and our core. He signaled that he was going to keep this team together and he wasn't going to trade anybody. It's just nobody wanted to hear that because everybody wanted to listen to all the crazy noise. Well, we're keeping the band together. We're not blowing this up. That's what other teams want. That's what the Celtics fan nation wants. They want the Raptors to have to start over and not be good for a couple years. So that's what I'm saying. Some of y'all in Raptors Nation, when you want the same thing that Boston fan wants or Sixers fan wants, then you probably want the wrong thing for the Raptors. Let's just put it that way. When you're aligning with what they want for us, that means that's probably not what we want. So stop listening to people that say fire Nick Nurse. Stop listening to people that say trade Fred and OG and Pascal. Because those people, they're usually people in other fan nations knowing that we get rid of those players, we get worse. And that's what they want. And you want what they want, you go ahead. You're a fool. And you may be a Raptor fan, but you are not thinking in the right way for us. Trust me. Seriously, you're not. Jay Conda's here. Good to see Jay Conda. Everybody's here this morning. I'd love to see how many people are here this morning. It is a big day in the Raptors history and in this season. I guess not in the history, but it's a big day for the season. Jay Conda's saying he's only getting traded if we get a crazy haul. He is a huge part of our team. I'd love if OG stayed. Yeah, we'd have to be really ripping people off. And then once again, what do you do with all these assets? One player for like 5 different things? Like, to me, that waters things down. In some ways, you want to be the team that gets the one player in a 3 or 4 player deal. That you don't want to be the team that's getting 3 guys in return for 1 guy, because that 1 guy has 1 roster spot and those 3 guys are 3 roster spots. And in some ways, you water down your team quality-wise when you trade OG for 3 players. That's what I'm saying. So you want to keep the really good quality of our top 6, 7 guys because they're worth like 4 or 5 guys on other teams. But where do we have the roster spots or the ability to develop all those guys? That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. As far as things, we want quality in this issue. Maybe quantity on the court with shots over quality, but with team, we want quality players over quantity as far as picks or lots of players. We don't want to be like Utah. We don't want to be like Oklahoma City. Just trust me. We just do not. We really do not. Forgetful saying, now we know why Pascal came out of Masai's office with big smile. And he's bounced back in his step. Yeah, and he did really play with more bounce in his game last night, more confidence, and he had a very fantastic game last night. Scott B saying, OG is not going anywhere. Everyone wants all our guys time to benefit from our own development. Yes, Scott B. Preach the gospel. Raptor Freak Scott B., you are right on point with what you're saying. Cool Cat saying, folks, we have developed our own stars and free agents to counter the U.S. strategy of blocking us. And now you guys want us to trade our gems? Fuzzy logic. That's right. We do it on our own. That's part of the problem is some people in Raptors Nation have this like cheat on the other people's tests kind of mentality. Get it easy. Well, we don't do it that way. We build it within and we make it ourselves. When we make such great things, y'all want to sell them away so easily for a quick fix? Fuck that. We do things the hard way here. And that's part of the problem that's not lining up with some of Raptors Nation and what the front office does is that we're doing things the right way, the hard way, the long-term way, not the short-term, short fix, put a piece of duct tape over it kind of way. We're doing it for the long, foundational, right, smart reasons way. And that's the thing that y'all are going to have to kind of like come to grips with is that y'all's philosophy of quick fix, fast, quick results, instant gratification mentality does not line up with the front office philosophy of Bobby Webster and Masai Ujiri. And you guys are learning this today the hard way. And that's just the damn truth. Fan Nation, y'all need to realize you got to build it right. You got to build it with quality, and you got to put time into it. You can't just throw things together quickly and think that everything magically just happens. And that's I'm glad that our front office is wise in this way. And that's what our fan nation, or a Raptors nation, I should say, needs to get used to. All right, let's keep going. Race Mode saying today may just be Alexathon till 3. I don't know. I mean, I should react to the Maine Celtics 9:05 game last night. Yesterday, actually, during the day at 11, it was a school day game. A great crowd in the building with the school children being very loud. They lost by 9 points. As I said, they could not get stops at the end of the game. They were really starting to come back against the Maine Celtics. But when you can't stop them from scoring, you cannot make up the deficit because they could not get any stops. They were outshot all around by the Maine Celtics, 53% from the field for the Celtics, 46% from three, and 100% from the free throw line. That is really good shooting by the Maine Celtics. That means we did not engage them well enough defensively. Sure, Coloco being on that game might have helped them. Meanwhile, we shot 51%, which is great, but 26% from three, and then 67% from the free throw line. So we lost it at the 3-point line, really, with a little bit of the free throw line being a problem too. They out rebounded us. And like I said, they've got some really interesting players on that Maine Celtics team. That Sandwich guy had 29 points yesterday, 10 of 16 shooting, 5 3-pointers for a 7-foot guy, 8 rebounds, an assist, and 2 blocks. And then Shyok, he's the one who absolutely killed us. Apparently, he's from Ottawa. 22 points, a plus 16, 7 of 15 shooting, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. They just have a very interesting team. Davidson off the bench actually had a really good game also yesterday for them. 23 points, 9 of 13, plus 21. Our 3 stars for the 905 in a losing effort, as far as I'm concerned, Ron Harper Jr. had a really good game yesterday. 28 points, 10 of 18 from the field, 3 3-pointers, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 blocks. Ron Harper Jr. is my number 1 star. He showed a lot more of the kind of things that he can do as an all-purpose player in basketball. Ron Harper has, one of the things he said after the game that was really interesting to me is his whole time as a basketball player, he's never been the guy. He's never been the scorer. He's never been like the number 1. He's always been a role player among other guys. And that's interesting to me, because in some ways he really like orients himself as a secondary player and somebody who reinforces or fortifies the team in whatever skill set way, whether it's blocking shots, steals, rebounds, shooting threes. He does it all, and he's kind of like that kind of guy. And I really appreciate him for that kind of character. And he really has been coming around the last few games for the 905 and showing a lot more. So check out Ron Harper Jr. more, because he's doing good things on the 905. The second star of the game is Delano Banton, 8 of 13 from the field, 21 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. He had some tough stuff where he didn't do the right things in key moments, but for the most part, Delano was effective and efficient, and I like what he did. I'll give the third star to Reggie Perry. Even though he could have done a little bit more. He missed 6 3-point attempts. He was 1 of 7 at 3. That's maybe my only big knock on him. If he had made a couple more threes, maybe they would have won. 7 of 19 from the field, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and a block. 20 points for Reggie Perry. Yeah, and the new guys are looking really interesting and cool. I really like Tillman Jr. He is fantastic. He's a great center, and he really takes up a lot of space and does good stuff. And then the new guard, Hollins, was also very active and doing interesting things. Ryan Hawkins was a major liability yesterday, and the Maine Celtics were going at him and scoring on him like crazy. He was a defensive liability, and he really hurt us yesterday, not gonna lie. David Johnson was okay off the starting, 5 of 7, 10 points. Jeff Doughton Jr., 4 of 11, 10 points also. Yeah, not a bad game by the 905, although they didn't win. They should have played better by the end, but it didn't add up to winning in the end. So it is what it is. So be it. Good job, Maine Celtics. They're a very strong G League team. They really are. Let's see. G-San Bleacher Report just announced the Heat are looking to move Lowry, and Clippers want him. A lot of rumors, but this would make some sense. Yeah, Clippers have been saying they want to reunite Kawhi with either Fred or Kyle recently. Well, there you go. Go get Kyle, and then you can really cosplay the 2019 champion Toronto Raptors, Steve Ballmer. Yeah, you go ahead and do your little cosplay out there of the Raptors championship team. Sue's saying, great point. And Cool Cat, I agree. Yeah, Cool Cat's had some really good points about like the logic of fans and what they're saying. Very, very good. Tom's saying Raps winning streak. Let's see, what is that? Raps winning streak. All right, it jumped once again, and there's a lot. I'm glad y'all filled it up. I guess there is a lot to talk about today for sure. Raps winning streak right through the playoffs. You mean they're gonna win right up into the playoffs? Tom, I hope so. MSJ saying I wanted a legit C. We can't have Pascal playing C anymore, and we need a C in there to set inside screens, and that will help. And outside shooting will improve with a decent rebounder in there. Yeah. One thing begets the other. It's really true. Like half of our problems were problems caused by other problems, and that they snowballed into more problems. And that this is part of the problem is like not having a good defense has hurt our offense, and vice versa. And that having a little bit better defense and having a legit center down there is going to clear up and fix a lot of things that are hurting in other areas. And you guys may see improvements in certain things like the shooting and certain things that you're going to be like, holy shit, this is a big difference. I'm serious. You guys are going to be like opening your eyes to this very soon. The difference with presence of having Jakob out there. Gogo is saying at Cool Cat, it's not that we want to trade them. It's that someone has to be traded because we can't give the 6 guys looking for new money all within the 365 days. And you don't want them to walk for 0. Now, see, all right, I'm going to do a basic like life philosophy kind of thing. Whatever you fear has already defeated you. And your fear of this go-go gadget is not good. Don't be afraid to let people walk. Don't be afraid to let things happen in life. If you're doing things from a fearful position, you're going to lose every single time. So you have to dare. You have to dare and go forward and not be worried. Oh, no, they're going to walk for nothing. Ooh, I hate that argument from Raptors Nation. It's so stupid. It's like walk for nothing. There's nothing in this league that happens like that. I know you think, oh, if a player just leaves and signs with the other team, they're walking for nothing. You get nothing from them. That's bullshit. In some ways, that is kind of stupid in a way because you have money that's freed up that would have gone to them. Instead, you pay it somewhere else. It's like you're allocating the funds to another place. And that is very much your choice sometimes. Now, if these guys choose and they just leave you in a lurch and you think, oh, they left us. Oh, my gosh, so be it. That is just how it is. This is the NBA. It's just how it works. I don't want to fear things that may never happen. So let's just put it that way. Why are you fearing something that may not happen? Trust in Bobby Masai. And even if it does happen, is it the end of the fucking world? So that's really kind of my point as far as the whole worry about people walking for nothing. That's silly shit. That is a fear that shouldn't be in Fan Nation. It just shouldn't be there. Everybody worries about this or gets upset about that. Fuck that. We're a very wealthy team that has a lot of good assets. If one asset walks out of here for nothing, it's not the end of the world. Let's just put it that way. So, and once again, that's the off season. We'll worry about that now. Right now, we're still playing, and we have a roster, and we have teams to play and wins to get. And I'm not worried about, I'm not in off-season mode. Like you are in your head, you're already in the off-season, thinking about everything in the off-season. No, we don't do that. We don't put the cart before the horse. We are going through the season first. Well, then we'll assess things for the offseason and do it then. Now, sure, they're going to be pre-planning and figuring out how it all works and how the puzzle pieces can fit. But I trust in them to do that. And right now, we should just be concentrating on our team winning games in the season and not the offseason and worrying about contracts. Is what I'm saying. Seymour saying Kyrie looked good with his new team. When Luka comes back, they're going to be a tough out. I'm not buying that, Gold. No, I'm not. I do not buy that take. I'm sorry, Seymour. We agree on a lot of things, but I am not going to buy that yet. We will see how long it takes for Kyrie to cause problems there. We will. And like I said, they're too duplicitous, and there's only one ball, is what I'll say. There's only one ball. Cool Cat saying at Go Gadget, only Gary Trent and Jakob are up this year. Yeah, that's what I tried to tell him. Those are the only 2 people. And Gary is just opting out. He technically has another year on his contract, but we know he's going to opt out. He's already signaled it. I don't think Fred will, though. Sue's saying, I may have missed this as I stepped away for a bit, but if we keep all our 5 starters, who will sit now that we have Jakob? I am sure Jakob starts. Well, we talked about it this way, Sue. Basically, I think it's a situational thing, depending on who we're playing. If we play against the Sixers or the Nuggets, then we're starting Poeltl. But if we're not playing against a very big team and we can get away with playing a smaller lineup with Precious at the center, then we'll figure it out. But I think that what we need to look at it is this way: we got Fred, OG, Pascal, and Scottie as the main 4 starters always. And then we rotate into the starting lineup, either Precious, Gary, or Jakob, depending on the situation. But now we have like 8 good starters. We really do. And in some ways, that will always mean we have at least 2 or 3 good bench players with Chris coming in all the time. So our bench got better because of this deal, obviously. Because in a lot of ways, Kem wasn't getting used anyway. Well, Jakob will get used, and we have another sound person for our rotation that's very dependable, is what I'll say. Yeah. Maybe Gary is what Tristan's saying. Logical saying, here's an issue. Gary has less time to decide on the PO. I'm not even sure what PO is. Based on years of service in the league. He locked in his decision early, so the team has time to plan. Vets have up to before July the 4th to decide. Purchase order? That's what a PO is to me, bro. A purchase order. I don't know, Mike. Once again, man, I have such a hard time trying to figure out what you're saying. All right, Sue's saying, hey, thanks, Tristan. Okay, yeah. Who would play at 2 then? OG. Fred, OG, Pascal, Scottie, and Jakob. That lineup, Scottie at power forward, and we get what we were talking about earlier this season with OG at shooting guard and Pascal at small forward. Yeah, I love that lineup. Ooh, I love that lineup. Go Gadget Raptors saying at Cool Cat, no, they're not. Gary and Fred both have player options this year, which they will exercise because their new contract's worth more. Jakob is the only direct free agent where it's not a player option. That's what I'm saying. Listen, and I've said this over and over again, Fred is probably not going to opt out at this point. I know it seems like he will, but you might be surprised that he won't at this point, just because of how this year's gone. I don't know. Anyway, once again, I want to quit this whole dialogue. It's stupid. All right, we're going to cut out 2 things for the rest of the stream because we're at 2.5 hours now. No more talking about OG getting traded. And no more talking about trades in general. We'll just let and see happens. And no more talking about contracts this summer. Those 2 things are no more talking about. We're talking about basketball. We're talking about coach and player stuff, not front office stuff anymore. I know it's a trade deadline, but we talked about this so much already just now. And we're not getting anywhere. And it's just hot air. Honestly, it's just hot air. Gadget, we understand. You have your fears and your worries. You go ahead and have them on your own. I'm going to put my fears and worries on the shelf and worry about them come around May or June. And I'm not going to worry about any of this shit that you're worried about right now. Okay? G saying, do you think with Jakob they could have OG shoot more? This would put less pressure on his body and give him the easier touches than the ones he has. Yes. This is exactly part of what we're talking about. Like the OG and Pascal get beat up because they have to manhandle centers. Well, we got somebody to come in there and wrestle with them instead. A much better candidate. And I'm very happy that he's here. Very, very happy. Sue's saying, good point. It's G. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. OG will be maybe less injury prone. Maybe he can be more of an offensive weapon because some of the defensive load is off his shoulders. That is very physical. There's a lot of different outcomes that can butterfly effect out of Jakob being on the team again. Cool Cat saying this is an advantageous to Scottie, our future franchise. He sees commitment to our developed players, and we're giving him experience before his new contract. Yeah, I mean, we're showing an investment in Pascal, and that's something that Scottie is going to look good to Scottie for sure. I agree with this. I know you've been worried about this, like turning Scottie off or making him think that we're not a good team to be around because we won't take care of him. We stab him in the back. Well, the way we treat OG, Fred, and Pascal today by 3 o'clock will show Scottie that we are invested and we are upfront and that we do talk to our players and tell them what's going on and that they don't need to worry about all the noise because they can know that they can call Bobby or Masai and they will tell them straight up what they're doing. And I feel like that's how it is, seriously, because some of these guys have not been shaken by this at all. They're really like, we don't think anything realistic is going to happen because we have a really good relationship with our front office and they're in communication with us constantly about kind of what they're thinking and feeling. I know that Siakam kind of said this week that they haven't really talked to him about it. Well, no news is good news. And that if they were talking about doing certain things with him, they would have came and talked to him about it, I'm sure. Tristan's saying, Sue, maybe Fred. I want to see point Scottie, and I think Fred is very good off ball anyways. The idea of Fred coming off the bench isn't a horrible thing, and that may actually naturally happen at some point, but it's too soon. Scottie's not ready. We saw last night him throwing some crazy ass passes that were really bad. And that's part of what the problem is that he's still got to get more disciplined and like get more time. And then I'll feel more comfortable with him running the team. In some ways, we want to maybe understand what we want Scott to learn right now. It may not be running point guard. We may want him to learn how to be the man and carrying us to win games in the clutch. That in some ways, maybe we want to develop him more in that direction right now. But he can do the point guard stuff, and he'll learn that too at some point. But it may be more efficient and good for us or helpful and valuable if Scottie is doing the low post stuff and really focusing on being a closer and being a high percentage shot at the end of the game to help us win over like ball handling duties right now. If we're going to have to choose, like he could probably try and learn both at the same time. But if we're going to have to choose which one, I want him to really go heavy on focus of studies. I want him to learn that stuff over learning being a point guard, because I feel like that stuff may be way more valuable and important to our team. That the point guard stuff's just naturally going to happen because he's got a great court vision. He's a naturally good point guard, and that'll come with time. But having Fred as the steady point guard is much more better at this point because it will lessen mistakes, and it'll also free up Scottie to go to low post and really discover that aspect of his game more. And I think the focus should be on that part of what he's doing more than the three-point shooting or more than point guard stuff. That the fruits of him in the low post, like Kawhi Leonard, dominating people with really close shots is really, really good for our team. And we want to see more of this more sooner than putting that on the layaway for later. Like we could put the point guard stuff with him on layaway for a couple years and have Fred just be our point guard and Scottie is a secondary ball handler point guard. But the other stuff, that is what I really value about him right now. Seriously, Tristan. But great point. I think it eventually will happen over time. But I think Fred's important and too essential at this point for game management in his role right now. And Scottie's not ready to take the reins on that. That's what we learned at the beginning of the season. We tried this already and it failed. That's why we need Fred to be the point guard still. Unfortunately, we tried it at the beginning of the year. It didn't work. It's not ready yet. Mike's saying Fred is on the books for next year at $22 million. It's up to him whether he opts in or out. Either way, we can hold everyone by shaving some depth. Waiving Thad gets $7 million off the $10 million needed to get under. Let's fucking go, Nameless. Yes. Yeah, see, Mike's pointing out there. I think that Fred, everybody thinks he's going to opt out, but in some ways, you know what? Once again, Fred is the kind of guy that will be like Manu or Tim Duncan or Tony Parker for the Spurs and work with us to keep the salary cap in a safe way for us. $22 million next year for Fred. It may sound like that is not enough for him, but he may be like, that's fine. I don't mind making $22 million next year. Why do I need to opt out? Why do I need to make a headache even bigger for Bobby and Masai? I know they'll take care of me eventually anyway in the next contract. So there's no guarantee, like you keep saying, Fred's going to opt out on his player option. I don't think that he will in some ways. Part of me is telling me that I think he's not going to do that just to help the team stay together. So don't underestimate team player Fred for being the ultimate team player and doing that, much like a Duncan did for the Spurs. Go Gadget saying it logical. And Gary Trent is on the books for 18.5 next year. But we know Fred and Gary both going to go for the new money opting into contracts for one more year. It's reckless as a player. Is it though? Or is it just like, you know what? In today's world, we are so inundated with go get as much as you can, as much as you want, as quickly as possible, greedy ass shit. Because we have people at the top that have that mentality and everybody's supposed to be like that in their fucking life. Why can't Fred just be like, you know what, 22 million is fine. I'm not opting out, and I'm going to play next year. You think he's greedy? You think he's just a greedy person? I don't know. I don't know exactly what he's going to do, but the option for him to just not take the option and opt out is also there and just stay the course. That's what I'm saying. Not just because everybody is so money hungry and money grubbing doesn't mean every single guy in the league is. I know Chris Boucher is not a money hungry person. He could have got more money for another team this offseason, but he wanted to stay in Toronto. And he loves being in the Raptors. That's what I'm saying. Priorities for each individual are different. And they're not necessarily the same priorities you have in your own head, what you think they would have looking at them. And I think that you may be shocked to see how much of a team player Fred is this summer. And we'll circle back to this when these decisions get made. If he opts out and he does what you're saying, okay, I'll admit you're right. But what if he doesn't and he does what I'm saying? Will you circle back and say that I'm right? Because that's what I think might happen. Seriously. Tom Duke saying, woohoo, nameless. Looks like Brooklyn will slide out and we will get that newly opened up playoff spot. A couple of them could fall down. I'm telling you, New York is not a real team either. The Knicks are not a real team either. They're going to fall down too. Mike saying, Gary's locked in his decision already. He declined the player option. That's what it is, player option. Okay, sometimes you just got to write it out, Mike. Seriously. It is a free agent this summer, but we have his bird rights and are able to pay him over the MLE. So if Gary wants to get paid to be on a good team, sign and trade. I trust these dudes. Once again, go gadget. The one thing I'm going to say is stop coming from a fear mindset of worrying about bad things happening. Going into it, oh no, if they do this, they're not going to have enough money for this. Or, oh no, these people are going to walk. Or, oh no, we can't sign this person because we got this deal. Stop thinking that way. You're not Bobby Webster. You do not know what he's doing. He has a plan. And he obviously knows what he's doing. So just let them do their job. You're not smarter than them on what they're doing. And I would not question this. I just go ahead and let them do their job and know that you got to trust them. And whatever happens, Gary, happens. So be it. You know, I hate coming from a fear mindset. You're coming from a fear mindset, and that's not the way to do it. You got to come from a confidence mindset and a mindset of positivity. In a way, you're already deciding that bad things are going to happen for the Raptors before they've even having a chance to happen. So that's a difference. And that's part of the difference in the Raptor freak mindset is we're positive Raptor fans. We think about the best things happening and not projecting the worst happening or worrying or chicken littling. That's a big thing. We're anti-chicken littling here. We don't chicken little like other people in Raptors Nation that start saying, oh, the sky is falling. The team is horrible. Get rid of everybody. No, we stand with them and we believe in them. That's what we do. Let's see. Seymour saying, judging people on what they want for the team is low, in my opinion. It's sports. We will never all agree. Look, the game is played on the court, not on paper, so we can debate all day. I hold no grudges. Thank you, Seymour Pape, Sheriff Seymour Pape. And I agree with this. I'm sorry if I've disappointed or upset or insulted anyone today because I did not agree with you on trade stuff. I apologize. This is fiction. This is just fantasy bullshit talking out of our ass. That anything that has to do with trades and stuff like that, we can differ on opinions because it's not anything that's been figured out unless it's a deal that's already been done that we're talking about. So, yeah, I'm with Seymour on this. I apologize to anyone if I've rubbed you the wrong way today and how I'm reacting to all this stuff. And listen, I really am just a man on the ground, boots on the ground kind of guy. I'm not thinking pie in the sky ideas about what could be if OG does this or only that. I'm only reacting to what has happened and going from there. And until something happens, hopefully it doesn't with OG, then I will react to it and talk about whether it was good or not. But right now, I'm not going to talk about what could be or what it woulda, coulda, shoulda, because there's no point. We're just wasting time. It's almost 3 hours in the stream. All right, let's keep going. Forgetful saying Brooklyn's not sliding anywhere. They have an improved team. I don't buy that. Tom Duke saying league is shook up. We will see what happens. Fun stuff. That's right. Let's see how this parity is after all these moves and see who are the winners and the losers from the trade deadline today. Cool Cat saying fans fail to realize that Norman was our shooter too and 3-level scorer better than Gary Trent, and we still traded him due to costs. Shooters are easy to buy. Look at our pattern. Yeah, I'm going to agree with Cool Cat here. In fact, this is what we did with Norman. We had the similar situation of what we have with Gary right now with Norman at that time. And it's like, you have a car, you trade it in, you go to the dealership and say, I had this car for like 2 years. It's a great car. It rides really well, but I want to get the newest model. And you go and I'm not trying to compare these guys to cars, but I just did. But it is that similar kind of thing. You kind of get a new model, then you get an upgrade. And that's what we could do in this situation today. Is there may be a deal still today where we trade Gary for another guard that's just like him, another shooter, but they're in a different contract situation so that it fits better with our puzzle. And that Gary gets to go somewhere and be a badass and a superstar and somebody will love forever still. That is possibly what could happen today. Seymour saying the Brooklyn Revolving Doors, not Nets. Yeah, that's a good team name for them. The Brooklyn Revolving Doors. Yeah, there's a lot of revolving doors in the city of Brooklyn, and they're on the team. Yeah, I agree with that. Go saying, why opt into a year when you can get at least 7 million more per year with more years guaranteed? Neither two are going to take the money that they're on books for right now. Gary hasn't opted out, just expected to. Listen, once again, you can have a cynical view about this, but I'm not going to have one. I trust in Fred to know that what Fred's most important thing in his life is, other than his family and his kids, is winning basketball. It's not necessarily the money. It's winning basketball. And if you go by that logic, the android's logic or whatever, Isaac Asimov, is you want to help the team win. You don't hamstring them like a Russell Westbrook with a crazy ass contract. You work within them and you get your fair pay so that you can keep more of the really good guys on your team. I really do believe Fred is one of these guys. He's shown this kind of thing before in contract negotiations with the Raptors. He's been very fair at hitting that sweet spot that doesn't hamstring the team and hurt them too bad. And he also gets fairly paid. And that's what I think you're failing to realize. He's not a bloodsucker that's trying to get the most money, absolute most money they can get anywhere. If he was doing that, he's going to go to another team. He wants to stay on Toronto, and he's going to work with them and get a fair price. In fact, he may not opt out. He may just take the $22 million he's on the books to get next year anyway. Seriously, I'm gonna remember this because you won't let this go. First of all, like I said, I won't talk about this anymore. I know your comments are from like an hour ago. But still, when this happens, we're going to see who's right on this. If he opts out and he does go for the money, then I'll say I'm wrong. But if he doesn't and I'm right, will you come back and say the same thing is what I'm saying. Nameless is saying the Raptors are back, baby. We still got a lot of winning to do. That's right, Nameless. That's the stuff we should be saying this morning. Tristan saying, I anticipate adding one to the rotation is going to greatly affect energy levels. Yeah, a little bit can add a lot. And when you add so much, it's too chaotic and hard to get back to your identity easily. Like the overhaul that the Nets have caused is going to cause a lot of upheaval on that team. And they have to sort everything out just like they're in training camp again at the beginning of the season. That's why I have no faith in everybody who's saying that they're going to be so good. They have to figure themselves out all over again in the middle of the season. Now, maybe it's just dumb luck and they just happen to work. But it's more likely that they're going to have problems and they're not going to be good together yet because they have a time of orientation and getting used to each other. That's why I have no faith in the Nets being better. Who's saying that? I know who's saying that. There's one person who's saying Forgetful saying it. I love you, Forgetful, and you're awesome with your sorcery, but that one I cannot get behind you on. I really can't. Let's see. Mike saying, Go, you're missing the facts. If they want to be on a winning team, those winning teams are over the salary cap. So they have the MLE about 10 million to sign guys without bird rights. So it's about cap space. And once again, and this is something that Mike and Cool Cat and I have talked about a lot, they are willing to go into luxury tax. Larry Tannenbaum and the owners of the Raptors will pay extra money and keep these guys together. They're not cheapskates. They are not going to worry about the luxury tax and say, we can't go into there. Watch, they will spend in the luxury tax. Trust me, they will. They did it for the championship year and they'll do it now because they know it's an investment in more money later because they'll win and they'll get winning. And that means more money later. That investment of going over the luxury tax and paying into the tax meant a championship. And it also meant more economics for the team. The team value went up. So it's sound business. So if you don't think that the Raptors brass will open up the pocketbooks and spend some money to make some money, you're crazy because they will. And they will, I bet you, if they're, especially if Masai loves his team and he loves his core, they will bend over backwards to pay them the money and keep them all together, even if it goes into the salary cap luxury tax. So that's something that needs to be pointed out also to help with things if you're worried about money and costs this summer. Kareem saying to Spurs, Keldon Johnson, 3 years of DeMar DeRozan, 4.5 years of Jakob Poeltl, one first round pick, 2 second picks to the Raptors, a championship, and a developed Jakob Poeltl. He's talking about the whole circle of Jakob Poeltl and going to the Spurs and stuff. Pretty crazy stuff and very interesting, his full circle trip between the Spurs and the Raptors. I love seeing it, and I can't wait to see him in the Raptor red on Friday night. Seymour saying Chicago's willing to move Levine or DeRozan, maybe both for AD if the money works. Possibly Caruso going back. See, this is crazy. You guys are going to talk about all this noise as much as Nick Nurse said. It's so much that you can't take any of it realistic. Nameless saying, this is huge, man. Plus, we only lose a player off the roster that never played anyways. Bring it on. We filled the hole we've been trying to fill for 3 years now. Crazy. I'm with you. Nameless, and I like that. Scott B saying, this is the first Lex I know and love. I don't care what the record says. This is the best team and organization in this league. That's the damn right, Scott B. That's right. This has been a hard season for this channel and for us. We've had to keep a positive light shining in some of the darkest bullshit and bad losses and horribleness. All kinds of people slandering the Raptors, saying crazy ass shit about our team. And we have stayed true and steadfast through these hard times on this channel. And I appreciate you, Scott B, for recognizing that. And yes, get back to the original Raptor Freak from last year when we're winning and how good the vibes are and how much fun this stream is when we're winning and we are having good time. Yeah, we're going to get back to that real soon. Watch. So true, is Seymour saying. Tristan saying, I really like the Timberwolves till that Gobert trade. I know. I thought they were moving in the right direction without doing that and that they kind of fucked themselves up. It really was kind of stupid. And in fact, Utah, it looks so much better without Gobert. It really makes you understand that maybe Gobert is the problem. Mike saying it's Melo if she's talking about the trade that decided the pick number. In my trade tree video, I saw Masai made the Melo trade, and that pick was part of the trade too. Masai sniped the pick twice. So you're saying that Carmelo Anthony's the reason why we got Jakob Poeltl for Summerlow's question? I don't know what the answer is to that. Hopefully she's still here and she give me the answer. Go Gadget saying Fred tweeted Dice and more bet on yourself mantras after he mentioned about being on the books for the following year. He only said it to help kill the turning down 114 4 years story. Look, there's a lot of bullshit that was talked about with Fred in his contract this season, and he kind of dispelled it. He said, first of all, we're not thinking about this at all this year. I've talked to the front office. We're on the same page, so they know what they're doing together. It's not like they're not matching up or seeing eye to eye. So they already have a plan that's in place, and I'm sure they're just going to execute it. And that you're going to find out when the time is right for the public to know that they had this all figured out since the beginning of the season. And that's why Fred, in a lot of ways, is very calm, cool, and collected about his position on the Raptors. So they very communicative. And they did this with Kyle in his last year here. Everything was set up and figured out months before. And they did it and they executed it. So that's why I trust in Bobby Masai, and I'm not worried about this. Seymour saying, we have never seen Scottie play with a legit center before. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. I love that reference. I'm just happy we're about to make some noise. Let's go Raptors. Yes, Seymour. Yes, it is time. A winning player is Jakob Poeltl. In fact, a lot of the wins for the Spurs in the last couple of years can be partly attributed to his defensive presence, allowing them to have a chance. So now we've got that defensive presence to allow us to have the chance. Nameless saying, this is not going to hurt our offense at all. In fact, it's going to open it up. Yeah. We can hide it. And it's not like he's such a horrible offensive player. He can score down low. It's just he has no jump shot, and he can be bad at the free throw line. But if he concentrates and he shoots well at free throw line, hey, no problems. MSJ saying we needed a center. This is an obvious move. The simple answer, but not all that exciting in terms of a massive move. Let's see if the next shoe drops. A second trade will be interesting. Well, we'll see if there is a second shoe. I think this move is actually kind of massive. It's bigger than the move we made last trade deadline, and it's going to have a bigger impact. I think that we're kind of poo-pooing it. And we don't realize this, that this is a quality starting center, legit starting center in the NBA. And something like a lot of people have said in this chat, we have not had since Marc Gasol. And this is the damn truth. And that is a big deal. That is monumental. We didn't get Ayton, but this isn't far off from getting Ayton. Let's just put it that way. Go Gadget saying, you guys can't seriously believe Fred left Parlay for Clutch just to opt into his player option. Well, maybe that's why he left them. I said this on this channel. You weren't here, Go Gadget. I know you're a little more recent. When he left Parlay to go to Clutch, I said that this was the reenactment I did. I said this. I said, this is Fred on the phone with Parlay. Yo, listen, you're not listening to me. I don't care about the money. I want to stay in Toronto. I don't give a shit about that. No, y'all are fired. No, OG told me Clutch is great. They give me what I want. Yeah, fuck y'all. Y'all maybe dice, parlay, whatever, fuck. But you don't want what I want, so I'm leaving. Why couldn't it be that? Why couldn't it be that Parlay was doing that strong arm shit and they wanted something different than Fred, and that's why he fired them? That could very well be it also. Then maybe Parlay's fucking up the negotiations with the front office to stay in Toronto. And that's why he went with Clutch, because Clutch is a proven organization that works with Toronto and keeps them there. OG, Gary, Nick Nurse, all three of them have signed contracts with the Raptors through Clutch. And that, you know what? I think that shows that sign even more in that way in some ways. That, they've given us very fair contracts for OG and Gary in the last cycles of their contract. So I like working with Clutch. Clutch is a great organization for players, agents to work with the Raptors. We have experience with them. Our coach is under there. They represent our coach. So they deal with them in all kinds of different ways. So in some ways, I could turn around and point at, well, maybe that's an indication that he didn't like the way they were negotiating, because he does really value being on Toronto. Once again, Fred VanVleet said he wants to be a Raptor for life at the beginning of the season. I don't think he says that kind of shit half-assed, is what I'll say. There you go. Tristan's laughing his ass off. I'm glad you're enjoying the moment. And Tom Duke has got a pancake buffet for us. Just in time for Diedrich Taylor. Well, he was here yesterday. He's got that crystal ball, 100% Canadian maple syrup wave of Raptors pancakes coming in and taking those leads. Duke was saying Celtics were also going hard at Jakob, but San Antonio figured chances are the Raps have a better chance at having a better draft pick. I'm guessing Boston may not have faith in Al Horford. This is true also, and something we should put on blast real quick. The two main suitors to get Poeltl were us and the Celtics, and we beat them. Yeah, Celtics, you ain't getting Poeltl. We got Poeltl. And he probably would have helped y'all. Yeah, so there you go, winning. Winning. G saying with bird rights, caps going up, and potential signing trades, don't think people should worry about the contracts so much. Clutch actually has a good relationship with Masai, too. They really do. I mean, seriously, I look at that Gary contract that he's on right now, and that's a fantastic contract they negotiated with us. The OG contract was totally fair and worked with things. So I love working with Clutch. Clutch is fine with me. LeBron's not working with them right now. He's playing still, but he owns the team. He owns the company, but they really are a good representation, and we're friendly with them. We know what we're dealing with when Bobby talks to Rich Paul. So there's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with this at all. Nameless is saying it's so dumb to overlook wins in this league. It's harder than ever to win nowadays, especially with the refs against us every night. They treat us like Nebraska. Yeah, I mean, seriously, every win is earned. I don't care. Poo-poo it. Say, oh, you just beat the Houston Rockets. Who cares? Well, this year it matters. It really does. Yeah, fuck Nebraska. Cornhuskers. All right. Wayne Strainer's here. Positive trade, mature business. I like that comment. Very short and sweet. Good morning, Wayne. And thank you for joining us every morning, 9:30 a.m. We're talking Raptors here. And good to have you here. Yeah, I like this. It's very short and succinct. Positive trade, mature business. Mature, being very well thought out, not flaky, not very impulsive, not very short-sighted, very much thought out. For sure. Scott B saying, I think you hit the nail on the head, Lex. This is a huge day in Raptors history. It's the day we chose us and brought one of our boys home instead of sending any of them away. Yeah, Scott B. I love how you just described that. We chose us. We chose us. We didn't choose the rest of the league to help supplement their teams. We chose us. And we chose bringing back more family instead of shipping family out. I love it, Scott B. 3 hours of talking, and you need that water. Oh yeah. All right, we'll get near the end of this, hopefully. Unless you guys want to talk all day, we can talk Raptors and we can keep watching what's going on with the trade deadline. Let's see. Top of Top is saying, if one thing I can say for Masai, he's got a lot of balls for standing firm. The thing with first round picks is that it's not about necessarily drafting all of them. They can be used in trades or to trade up. I guess what you're saying is true. That they can be used as trade fodder and stuff like that. Yeah. All right, I can get behind that and the value. But what happens if you don't trade those and you just have to keep drafting guys too? In some ways, I feel like that's a problem having too many players like Oklahoma City. You get all these draft picks and you end up having to cut guys that you get no use, and it's waste. In some ways, it's a waste when you have that happening. G saying people pooping this trade would be upset in a roar if the Celtics got him. Like I said, there's just negative, cynical people that are going to find a bad slant on any given thing that happens. They will not be able to see the positive side. They were only going to look at the negative side. Mike saying the issue with holding picks and not players has a downside for us. Value on assets are increased by having the right player and room for him to grow. That's like interest is added on players versus picks. If you have a garden and you have a certain limited amount of space to put the garden in, you can't have all these plants to go in there. There's no room for them. And that's kind of what's happening here. And in some ways, I like what Mike's saying because we develop our value in our assets through the players' development, like OG and Pascal and Scottie and people like that. That is where the assets we have, and that's why everybody's after us. That sometimes the assets and picks are great and they're on promise, but in some ways it's much more attractive and concrete, and you get to be the belle of the ball for the trade deadline when your assets are actually genuine good pros that are already playing and they're proven commodities and not just names on paper that get called and get a hat from Adam Silver, in the summer. So I think that's part of the difference too, is that's part of the reason why we have so much value is because the assets are in our developed players, and as they've gotten better from nothing. Tristan saying that's one of the truest things I've ever heard. Thank you, Tristan. I don't know if I said it or one of the comments said it. Let's see, bro. We let Gasol and Ibaka walk and went into 2-3 years of turmoil and no center. Do you know why we did that though? Go Gadget. We did that on the promise of possibly getting Giannis Antetokounmpo. That is the only reason why we did that. That was a gamble that Masai made on the prospect of possibly hitting a huge grand slam home run of acquiring Giannis. That Giannis, if he had not taken the Supermax and stayed with Milwaukee, his short list was to maybe come to Toronto. And for that to possibly even happen, he had to do what he did at that moment. In fact, that's part of why you shed people like that is you want to make a big, huge room for a super max contract guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo. So remember the reason why Ibaka and Gasol walked is to make room for possibly getting Giannis, which didn't happen. And that's the only reason why it seems like such a void or a weird thing. Now, if that had made room and it had happened, well, you wouldn't be saying anything about all that, would you? So that's what I'm saying. It was a calculated risk that didn't pan out. But in some ways, he did it in a smart way that minimized the damage from it in some ways. I mean, Gasol and Ibaka were old and aged anyway. And did we really want to reinvest more money into them at that time? I would have questioned that, honestly, in some ways, the way that they had been playing near the end of the bubble. So, yeah, there you go. Let's see. Yeah, player option. Sorry, Mike. I'm not hip to everything. Like I said, I worked in a warehouse like Seymour, and a PO is a purchase order. Wayne is saying also, so-called Raptor fans talking trades is nonsensical. Really, you want to trade Fred, OG, or Pascal for who? Bobby and Messiah are solid executives. We are good. Wayne, you're coming in as a rookie of the day right now. Two fantastic comments. You're exactly right. This is a comment that I've made a lot recently that I'm calling it Raptors Nation at this point. Raptors Nation has fans, and they also have critics, and they also have posers, and they also have wolves in sheep's clothing, fans of other teams that come in and act like they're fans of the Raptors just to cause chaos. So it's like Raptors Nation, there's a lot of different kinds of people at this point. I'm not going to say all y'all are fans anymore. Some of y'all are fans, some of y'all are fanatics, and some of y'all are freaks like we are, positive Raptor fans that believe in them winning more and more championships. And it sounds like Wayne is a freak just like us, and I love it. I'm serious. Like, seriously, if you like this team, why would you want to get rid of these guys? You hate these guys so much. You hate Fred so much that your whole life is based around slandering him and trying to force him out with your verbal, stupid ass social media shit. What kind of a pathetic, sad life are you? You're not creating, you're destroying. That's where the whole basis of things. You want to create or cause positivity or think positive or expand good things, abundance? Or do you want to think from a scarcity mindset, a negative mindset, a cynical mindset? That everything is awful and nasty. And that's the problem. There's a lot of people in Raptors Nation that come from that mindset. And we got to be the counterbalance. We got to be the positive, optimistic fans, because a lot of our fans are also Leaf fans and they're jaded and they have problems with believing or being positive because they have so many times been crushed in different ways. So that's part of the phenomena of the Toronto sports city is that it's hard to be a positive sports fan in this city because of years of jadedness from the Leafs. And that we need to separate Raptors Nation from Leafs Nation and quit all the behaviors that happen in Leafs Nation in the Raptors Nation because we're separate, different places and people. Trust me. There's some of the people may be the same, but don't be bringing that shit in here. Y'all are apples to our oranges. We are not the same nations, Leaf Nation and Raptor Nation. And I love your comments, Wayne. You're a rookie of the day. I hope you'll come and join us every day. Tomorrow we'll be previewing the Utah Jazz game, and I'll have the latest news on whether Russell Westbrook is staying there or not. If he's going to get bought out and go to another team, that may be interesting too. Top of Top saying, Lex, getting picks and young players isn't a quick fix. Getting a vet center to add to a core with an aging, oft-injured point guard and shooting small forward as well as a power forward who hasn't shown playoff dominance is a quick fix. Okay, let me break it down to make sure. Yeah, getting the players and the draft picks, it takes a long time. And that's what I'm saying. We're already developing with the guys on the schedule we're on. Why do we want to mess that up and kind of mess around with that? We're already on a journey with our core dudes that have been here for a while. Pascal, 7 years. That's part of this whole thing. You know what? You're talking about playoff dominance. It's different. Every year it can be a little different in different ways because every year has different variables. Certain teams have certain injuries, certain teams rise up, certain players have better years than other years, certain trades happen. Everything is different and it's hard to gauge. Like I described earlier, a scenario where we have a shittier season this year, but we have a better playoff outcome than last year. Like, what if we do that? Like last year, we had a really good regular season, but then in the playoffs, we had a disappointing first round exit. Well, what if we have a shitty year with a record for most of the year, but we get in the playoffs, we sneak in and we make some fucking noise and we make it the second round? Would you feel like this year has been a success, like last year was a success, if we did that? Because we build on what we did last year by getting past the first round? That's what I'm saying. It's all stair steps. And don't be shocked if we make the playoffs this year and we do this. I will say if we get to the second round this year's a success, even with all this bullshit we've gone through. In fact, it is a big success that we've made it through all this shit, stayed together, and the team has stayed as a unit and not turned on each other. In fact, in some ways, that's a huge accomplishment. So in a lot of ways, I can see where this year is going to turn out to be a huge success by the end of it because we may get further in the playoffs. And don't think that that's not possible. Seriously. G saying just came out. Jakob wanted the trades to the Raptors. Wouldn't worry about him walking at this point. Yeah. Listen, and like I said, these guys are smart and they want to keep things together. The Spurs really did this for a long time where these guys took less money to keep the band together. And I see our guys being that kind of guys. They're not as selfish as y'all think. Tristan saying that Scottie take about being a closer is interesting. You like it, Tristan? Yeah, I really just think that it's obvious that it's going to happen. He's just too dominant, and his shooting percentage near the basket is so high. We'd be fools not to use this and try and use this often because it really can be like he did it at the end of the game against Memphis, and they were putting up some good resistance with Jaren Jackson Jr. It isn't like that he went up against a cream puff. And it was a very high pressure time where everybody's trying their damnedest, and he still made really good baskets in a high pressure against a really good defender. So that's what I'm saying. That the signs are showing that Scottie can be a closer to help us close and win games in the fourth quarter. SB fourth. May the fourth be with you. Be great, Scottie. You are Scottie for quarter. That's what I want to start calling him. Scottie fourth. Scottie fourth. His number's 4 already. That is his quarter. He's going to turn into this more and more. Watch. Go saying Nets just flipped Jay Crowder for 5 seconds. Scottie has never been a scorer first. He's always been a pass first player. Why try to make him something he's not just to please Fred? I'm not doing this to please Fred. I'm doing this to please us. I'm doing this to get more W's. You're wrong. Scottie can do everything. Listen, I know he's a pass first guy and he's unselfish. That's great. Magic was that too. But that doesn't mean that Magic or Jason Kidd or these kind of players like Scottie couldn't take over games and win them for them. That's what I'm saying. They can all be in the same bag. They can all be in the same bag. I'm just saying this because Scottie doesn't need that responsibility of running the whole team and having all that worry all on his shoulders at once. There's so many different things he can do to help us win at all different times. And his role can change within 5 minutes of the game, where he's jumping the ball at the beginning of the game as the center to like all of a sudden he's the point guard a minute later. Oh, now he's a low post scorer for us. It's not like we can say, okay, he's just his role tonight and that's all he's going to do. Now, there may be some nights where he doesn't shoot any threes and some nights where he shoots a lot of threes. There may be some nights where he goes down low and he finds success down low. Or there may be some games where he doesn't even go down low, like what we've seen. But what I'm saying is, please leave your mind open to understand that, yes, he can be this guy. And there was a moment on Twitch last summer because I watched Scottie on Twitch for 138 hours last year. The whole time he was on Twitch, I was there watching him. And he's playing 2K. And at one point, he's very pass-oriented in 2K too. And it was really fun to learn more about his basketball, like way he looks at the game by watching him play the video game. Because we play with like John and Lloyd, his friends, on the 2K game. There was one game in particular where he decided, I'm going to be the guy and I'm going to take all the shots, guys, and you guys are not getting to shoot at all. And he was joking about it, but he really enjoyed it. So don't think that he's not capable to be the ball hog and be like primary, like I'm the guy always scoring and keeping the ball and stuff, because he can do it. I saw him do it in the 2K game and it was funny. And it does kind of go against his general like way that he likes to be. But if they want to put that on him and they ask him to do it, he will do it. And he will do it very successfully. Trust me. So, yeah, I think that you saying that, yeah, it's true. He's a pass first guy in his mentality. But if you want to wire him to be that guy, he will do it when we want him to do it. Trust me. He say he'll do whatever it takes to help us win. And if we want him to take us on his broad shoulders to the end of the game in clutch situation to win the games, well, we saw he could do it against Memphis on Sunday. So, and it may not be every single game or anything like that, but it is going to be something like that. I don't know why Steve's doing this. He's texting the hell out of me right now. It's hilarious. Let's keep going. Mike saying Fred allows Scottie to be able to focus on scoring and not both playmaking and scoring at the same time all the time. We're working on both without overloading Scottie at the moment. It really is the kind of thing where, like I said, any given moment, he's doing something different and he's learning all kinds of different things all the time, like very versatile, very much. And it's like don't box him into one specific role in your head, because that's not who he is. It's the same thing for Precious. Don't box these guys in and just decide this is who they are, because they can do all kinds of different stuff and the sky's the limit. Paul's seeing Bucks got Jay Crowder for 5 second-round picks. That's what finally got it. So he did land there. I'm glad I picked up Jay Crowder on the waiver wire on the injured list, because now he's going to start playing and I'm going to get a valuable power forward that's okay all of a sudden just because he's been sitting on the injured list because he wouldn't play for them. He's not hurt. He'll show up and he'll start playing right away. So nice boost. If you're in a fantasy basketball league, go get Jay Crowder quick, because you're going to get a player for nothing and he can hopefully help your team. Yeah, I got him on my team now. That's right. Raptors freak. Woo. Jimmy Pope saying Crowder to the Bucks for 5 second-round picks. He's replacing Ibaka, but he's a much more sound replacement. And they got big guys on that team. The Bucks are a very big team. That'll help them. G's saying that's why Fred helps Scottie. Scottie doesn't need to be forced to shoot to become a threat. With Scottie running point, teams would just lag off him and double others. Fred actually helps space the floor. Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? They really help each other. Like they really, really do. There's a lot of pressure off of Scottie because Fred's around. Just trust me on this. It's like everybody who thinks it's Fred or Scottie, you're crazy. They are very good together and they like playing together. They complement each other very well. And it isn't like a point guard war like TJ Ford versus Jose Calderon from back in the day. This isn't like a TJ versus Jose thing, guys. This is Scottie is a very much a hybrid of everything, and Freddie can be the point guard still. Seymour saying that he called the Crowder move. I think you did like a couple hours ago, and it is in the chat. So we can go ahead and say you called it specifically from this. Joseph Starks is here another day in a row. Good to see Joseph Starks. Great to see I'm not the only one who couldn't work today. Hello, everyone. I'm so nervous today. Well, hopefully the nerves are mostly gone. We made our move, and maybe that's it. We're done, Joseph, and we may be done for the day. MSJ saying this is too complicated for me, but how to pay all of them seems another trade is needed only because of that. Like I said, MSJ, don't worry about the luxury tax. That's what I'm saying. Larry Tannenbaum said he'll pay money to make money. So this isn't for us. We don't want to figure all this shit out unless you're Mike. Most of us will just kind of go ahead and trust in them, and they can do all the really close up number crunching and figuring out how it all works. I know your head might explode if you try and figure it all out yourself. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to see what they got and what's possible, and let's do it. MSJ, yeah. So don't worry about it. Mike's saying positivity over fear. That's right. Fear is just not understanding something and then fearing it. Truth is learning, helping curb the negativity of the unknown. It's to be human to have to be able to do this and overcome fears. Yeah, I've always liked that fear. I'd like to describe fear as the feeling of courage. That when you feel fear, it's that is your instinct to have courage in that moment and to overcome it. That if you're ever in a position where you have a fear or you're sad or you're scared or something, or maybe you're having anxiety out in public, maybe you're having any kind of issue. Well, that feeling, if you start to tell yourself inside that when I feel this feeling, this is my opportunity to have courage. That, fear and the feeling of anxiety can be the feeling of courage. It's all how you want to paint it. And you can turn it into a weapon. And you might be shocked the results you get in those moments when you have that anxiety or fear, that you've turned it into something that's emboldened and strengthens you, because you're like, whoa, I'm feeling this inkling of courage. I'm not feeling anxiety anymore because this is the feeling of courage when I get these feelings of unsettled, like anxiety. It's a really weird coping mechanism in a really weird way that you can game it to your advantage. And in fact, I think on the download, a lot of competitors and very serious people that do high level things use anxiety and fear and stress, that kind of stuff, to their advantage by making that in their head. Like, just say, oh, when I'm feeling these anxious, that's courage entering my body. Game it for you. Nameless saying, much easier to find shooters. Nobody wants to learn the fundamentals anymore. Ever since Curry, nobody wants to learn and play technical basketball. Just shoot all day. Yeah, that's true in a lot of ways. There's a lot of people that are good shooters, and there's guys that will come and fill in. Gary, if he wants to stay, maybe he'll take less money. Cool Cat saying the front office knows the character of Fred, Pascal, OG, so they both understand the business and longevity career plans. So money discussions will be beneficial to both. Look at Lowry's tenure with the front office. Very communicative, open, and talking and on the same page. That's how we run things here. We're not like old NBA GMs that used to not tell shit to their players and they get blindsided with trades, or they would get like shafted. There's so much animosity between players and general managers in the history of the NBA. Well, that's not a characteristic of our team. Our team front office is very straight up and communicative and honest with them. And that really helps us with trust. And it also helps on the other end with players doing things to help us with the team, with their contracts. Trust me. Isaac saying, we got a new piece to the puzzle. Not giving away our collection today. Thank you, America. Yes, benevolent Isaac Campbell is benevolent in his own life. He will give his own possessions away to make room in his house to clear up the clutter. But we're not giving any benevolent things to the U.S. today. Sorry. OG is not being traded, guys. You guys think he is? Maybe he is. I don't know. But 3 o'clock, you go ahead and get here. It's only just over 2 hours now to 3 o'clock, and all this shit will be done. Quick saying 28th in the three-point shooting, worst half-court offense in the league, one of the worst benches in the league. Problems are still here. I don't know. That's just how we perform so far. with how things have been. There's always the room for change. And don't underestimate, like we said, the impact that Poeltl can have on other parts of our game that we're struggling in right now. It may not seem like he's a direct fix, but you might be shocked at how he dominoes into fixing some of these issues that you brought up, Click. Once again, we love you, Click. I know you're a real one. I know you're a Raptor freak, but I know you're also very cynical right now. But it is what it is. I love you, brother. It's all good. Tristan saying in the offseason, I thought we'd be a serious contender if we acquired a center. Originally, I thought Wancho was Willie, and looking forward to seeing what difference this will make. Yeah, I mean, we may actually be a serious contender now because we got this center. In some ways, this is the trade we wanted last summer. We didn't get. Well, now we're getting it halfway through the season because it didn't work with what we got. So, yeah, let's see what happens, Tristan. I like it too. Amari's here. Are you staying on till 3? I don't know, Amari. I don't know. I should probably go eat lunch. Isaac saying any center coming north is a W. He will impact both ends of the floor. This was a positional deficit we lacked that made it difficult to even evaluate teams' needs. Fred, Pascal, Scottie all benefit. Everybody's going to benefit. Everybody. Nick Nurse is going to benefit because he's going to look better. His bench is going to look better. I'm going to tell you that right now. Our bench did get better today. You know, that's just an upgrade. Ken Burch to Jakob Poeltl is an upgrade. And that's another more capable person to add into the mix and compete for minutes. You know, he'll light a fire under Koloko's ass. And Koloko ain't going to get those minutes necessarily. It may be that Koloko can go and spend most of the rest of this season in 905 and get a lot of more burn down there because we don't need him necessarily for center stuff because Poeltl's around. So there's a lot of different ways this can affect things. Don't be shocked. Facts. We could do it still. Tristan's agreeing with you guys that we could make a push. And Mike is saying, facts again, Lex, don't box out our young blank canvases. We're painting over time and things are layered and developed in parts. Like a painter building a painting starts with the background and works stuff in, some happy little trees like Bob Ross would paint. You know, he may paint a picture real quick within a half an hour of his show, The Joy of Painting with Bob Ross. But listen, every little thing, every little stroke, he says they're happy accidents. You know, if you make a little brush stroke and it's not exactly right, well, it's a happy little accident. You just put a little bit more on this side here and you make it all real nice. And then boom, you have a nice little new bush friend. And then everything is looking even better over in this area of the Pascal sunset. And then you got the Fred Van Vliet Mountain. You know, you want to paint that beautiful picture and keep adding to it. You don't want to take elements of it out of the way, especially if they're things that are working together and they love playing together. Because there's no problems with chemistry on our team. These guys love this unit and they love being in the foxhole together. And that it's not a chemistry issue. It's just getting things working better. Monique is here. Good afternoon. So 3 stars for the game last night. Pascal, Chris, and Gary. Good vibes. Go Raptors. And Jakob Poeltl. Monique, are you excited to have Jakob back? You know what? Let's put some shine on Monique real quick. I see that Monique went to the game last night and she was at Scotiabank Arena and she was after the game. She got to hang out with Vivek, Jacob, and Tim McAuliffe and Cabby Richards. So awesome to see Monique with all of her friends after the game, the media friends. Monique, Superfan Monique Lawrence, Raptor Freak alumni, greatness in the Raptor Freak family. Monique hanging out with the media last night. Vivek, Tim McAuliffe, and Cabby. All in pictures with Monique last night. I love seeing those pictures of you pounding around with everybody. You go put a shout out to the Raptor Freak channel to these guys and tell them to come check us out. Cabby, we'd love to have you in the comments with us with all your fun stuff and tell us some stories about hanging out with Kobe Bryant. Yeah, I love that stuff. Let's see. Seymour saying New York just got Josh Hart from Portland. Yep. Jalen Brunson won a chip with him at Villanova. Very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I was saying earlier, Josh Hart got up in the middle of the game for Portland and left in the middle of the game when he got traded. He was sitting on the bench and they said, oh, you got traded. He got up out of his seat and he went to the back. Mike's saying Bobby and Masai do art and their pieces have top value when complete. Watch out, Picasso. Bobby and Masai are boss painters. There's levels to things in the NBA, and we got the best guys for us. Yes. And Cam Reddish is a trailblazer. Wow. So many moves and so many stuff and so many comments that I've gotten to the end of. Good job beating the Spurs last night. You beat the Spurs so good last night. Raptors, you won their starting center. What a great move last night. Thank you, Messiah and Bobby, for making a deal that a lot of us true blue Raptor freaks love. Something we've been talking about for a couple years now. Let's get Yaka back. And now it is a reality. We've got Yaka Poeltl back in the Raptors red. And I'm so excited to see the waves that will come off of this move and the positives that are going to come from this. They're going to come, y'all. You're going to see them. They're going to be amazing. Too bad that the 905 could not beat the Maine Celtics yesterday. Say la vie. It is what it is. You guys go and get your next game. I believe you're playing the Westchester Knicks next. I'm not sure, positive. A couple deals yesterday we can go over just real quick. I'll just give you my quick takes on them. The Suns have acquired Kevin Durant and TJ Warren from the Nets for Cameron Johnson, Mikal Bridges, and Jay Crowder. And we are hearing that Jay Crowder has been flipped over to Milwaukee since. Interesting that the Nets get Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges. That's a big get, Mikal Bridges. That's a good player for them. I think the Suns are going to be worse defensively. It's going to be very interesting to see Durant in a Suns jersey. But yeah, I don't like this for either team. I'm a hater. And I think that both teams will be worse. How about that? That's the way I'll treat every single deal that's done by other teams. Same thing with the Russell Westbrook trade. It's a three-way deal that is horrible for all three teams: Utah, Minnesota, and the Lakers. That's just those are my takes on the deals. There you go. Upgrade indeed. Yes, Monique. So happy to see Yaka Poeltl back in the Raptors jersey. All right, let me see. Is there anything else I wanted to talk about? No, I talked about that. Talked about that. Okay, so we'll wrap it up. Y'all, tomorrow, preview of the Utah Jazz game. Let's see if there are any further trades in the next 2 hours. I hope not. If there is, maybe it's just Gary. We'll have to see. Duke saying Robert Bateman is my favorite Canadian painter. Robert Bateman. I think I've heard that name before. Yeah, painters are cool. I do know a bit about art and different artists around the world and stuff like that. Dali was always my favorite. I went to that museum in Tampa, St. Pete, the Dali Museum, and saw the hallucinogenic Toreador. It's one of my favorite Dali piece. I just really love surrealism. Yeah. All right. Say word Sue. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Please, if you enjoy this channel, please like, comment, subscribe, and share wherever you'd like to. If you meet media personalities like Monique did yesterday, tell them about the Raptor Free channel, and maybe they'll come and visit us and see if it's worthwhile to hang out with us too. And Justin is saying, it's very happy to see Jakob coming back, aren't you, Justin? Yeah, it's a great thing. So y'all, hey, hold your heads up high. We are buyers. We're not sellers on the trade deadline. Thank God. Thank God. Thank you. You can go. You're my son. Yeah. All right. Let's go.